International Management Consultancy is the leading global marketplace for learning and instruction, helping professionals across the industry to develop skills and expertise to get recognition and growth in the corporate world. We are one of the leading training providers and gradually spreading our training facility amongst candidates based at different geographies, such as Canada, United States of America, United Arab Emirates, Saudi, Kuwait, Qatar, Oman, Lebanon, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Philippines, India, and many other countries across the globe. IMC is accredited by the highest industry standards. We put in the efforts and we work to prove our commitment to offering our clients only the best and of superior quality. With a uniquely immersive curriculum that combines live instruction from the leading experts, peer-to-peer collaboration, on-demand lessons, unlimited online trainings, and 24/7 learning support, IMC helps over thousands of professionals learn their skills needed to advance their careers and reach their full potential. In line with our commitment to excellence, IMC offers a number of training courses preparing professionals for certifications and exams given by the international associations in areas like management, finance and accounting, human resources, sales and marketing, quality administration, and as well as project management. By fully attending these courses and successfully completing the requirements of the certifying body, participants will receive a special certificate which recognizes their dedication and commitment and in many cases help them earn valuable continuing education credit. IMC Consultants has been working together with their clients from various industries in aligning their people and processes to compete through high speed, excellent quality, and low cost. We strongly believe that the key to our success is our total commitment in delivering value to our clients based on integrity and openness. If you are uncertain about which roles or skills are best for you, hurry! Come visit our website or talk to our expert education consultants today. Take a step, invest in your future, empower your knowledge, and be one of our success stories. International Management Consultancy, excellence is what we deliver.
Hello, everyone. I hope I'm audible to everyone. Would request you to please confirm in the chat if in case you're able to hear me clearly. I hope I'm audible. Perfect. Thank you. Thanks for the confirmation. Okay, let's be good to get started now. All right, so first of all, let me welcome you all. A very good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to everyone, because we got people from every part of the globe. So yes, we will be starting with our core training. But before we actually get going, let me just, there's certain things which we need to talk about, understand with reference to Lean Six Sigma, so that the concept and the clarity is there from the day one. First of all, I would definitely want to talk about the course curriculum. So I'm sure, like, my name is Shashi Prakash. Just let me just give a very brief introduction about myself. I'm a certified master black belt, and I have roughly 21 plus years of experience by now. Good 14 years I was engaged with corporate sector, and since 2014 I have only been doing Lean Six Sigma management, training, consulting, projects. That's the only thing what I do. I'm a registered project management practitioner as well. So pretty much I use my PMP knowledge to carry out my Lean Six Sigma projects. So I prefer to be a master of one rather jack of all trades. So that's the only area where I expertise in. So if I talk about my engagements with with respect to the corporates globally. I would have trained most of the CEOs, CXOs, and exclusive training one-on-one basis. A lot of Fortune 500 companies, done a lot of corporate trainings, big names in the market. Now, coming to the institutions, if I talk about the current engagement, I have been doing all trainings in Qatar, for Qatar government and universities out there. I've been associated with trainings in UAE as well. So most of my work happens in Middle East. People joining in from India would definitely be able to recognize the name like IITs and IMs. I've delivered the similar trainings and like exactly the same trainings in the IITs and IIMs, the big names in India. And so my major work happens to be in Middle East, India. And yes, when it comes to the projects, most projects are in European region. So pretty much that's my area of expertise, like sort of the way I work. Now, if I talk about the clientele that we handle, it ranges across every possible industry that we can think of. I come from a service industry background, but the kind of clients that I handle as a Lean Six Sigma professional, it ranges from every possible thing. So oil and natural gas, construction, healthcare, hospitality, data centers, and probably whatnot, tea gardens, publication houses. Well, there is no boundaries. There are no restrictions. There are no limitation. And honestly, I have zero knowledge about this industry. Well, that's what Lean Six Sigma can do to you. It's not about the industry. It's not about the department. It's not about what you, like what kind of educational background you come from. It is one skill which will make you universal if you understand the concept correctly. It applies to every possible industry. Well, people are implementing Lean Six Sigma for pretty long time, and across all possible industries. Probably we don't know it. That could be one reason, but people are doing it and people are using in every possible industry. A lot of case studies, how people have implemented Six Sigma, and this is just a small compilation of different types of case studies in different sections. So we got like tons of case studies, and this is not all of it. I keep adding and keep compiling it in different sections, and this is pretty huge list. In every every area. So forget about industry. So the department education stuff doesn't matter whether you come from an operations, quality, finance, marketing. Well, absolutely has no relevance. Bottom line, when we deal with various stakeholders globally, there are challenges. Every organization has challenges. They want to solve those business problems, and when it comes to different approach to solve a problem, you have a lot of options. You can apply basic ISO principles, which can streamline, standardize things. You can use the agile methodology. In an IT world, you might use the ITIL. There are a lot of ways you solve it. Well, Lean Six Sigma is one choice which can fit in every possible, because the rest of the things are very much specific to a particular industry, trade, department. But when it comes to Lean Six Sigma, well, this is a universal tool. So it applies with everything. So irrespective of what's your background, it doesn't matter. Now, our core concept during this entire training program would be to make sure that you are clear in terms of concept, because when it comes to the real world job opportunities, looking for a better career with Lean Six Sigma, the biggest constraint that we come across is that people have theoretical knowledge, but the transition of theory to practical is a big problem. When I hire for my projects, I hire for my clients, and not only me, pretty much every other person who is into Lean Six Sigma world, the recruiters who are looking for right candidates. The biggest problem and concern, most of them say, well, people have taken up training, they have got the knowledge, like I might know 20 different tools, but when to use which tool, in what sequence, is the missing link. The bridge, the transition of theory to practical is where the biggest gap is. And that's what we would like to make sure we do not have that loophole in the training program. So at IMC, we have continuously been working in ensuring that the training that we do is relevant to the real world. The application knowledge and understanding is crystal clear from day one. So when you learn something, you can immediately go and apply that in your real world scenario. So when you come across through a situation where you're sitting through a job interview, well, it's like a story you can talk about Six Sigma. That's the level of confidence and understanding about concept we want. So keep that in mind. We might be coming from different backgrounds. All in all, what it needs you to have the understanding of concept, because it's not a industry specific training. It is a generalized training. It's a generalized training which applies everywhere. So we will try to keep things more generic, which is easily understandable to everyone, because if we are people from, say, manufacturing side, well, if we start only talking about manufacturing stuff, well, people from service industry may not be able to relate, and vice versa. So we try to ensure that we stick to the core theme, which is about making sure you understand the concept. And that's when you will be able to explore the true potential of Lean Six Sigma. So we'll try to keep it very, very simple. Objective is to understand, and then the application of the, like, how do I go ahead and use this in my industry will get clear. Now, if there are still some specific questions which are related to, like, how do I still apply, I'm not clear about it, well, we can discuss that on like one-on-one basis, because we've got people from different background. It's just not possible to engage everyone with every type of industry related example. So I'm sure we all have connected on a WhatsApp group. There's a common like a WhatsApp group created for this batch. In case you're not in that WhatsApp group, my humble request to everyone, please do connect with your program coordinator. Get yourself added in the WhatsApp group. I'm also there. A lot of people from IMC management are there. So they're continuously watching what's happening in the WhatsApp group. There is a concern, there's a question, there's a query, not even during the training, after the training as well. We have a common platform for this batch where we'll still stay connected. Well, we are going to meet every weekend, like Saturdays and Sunday. But what if I have a question? Do I wait till the Saturday and Sunday? Absolutely not. Doesn't make sense. You got a problem that needs to have a solution. So please do connect with your program coordinator. Get yourself added in the WhatsApp group so we can still stay connected during this training period. When this 30 hours program is over, still we are on the platform and we can still stay connected. So if you have a question after the training also, when you start working, applying in real world, well, please don't think twice, just post on the group. So please stay connected. If you're not there, please get yourself added. Now, before we move on with more like specifics about, honestly, David, I don't have access. I am also been added by the administration team. So please do connect with the respective program coordinator who got you enrolled in the program, and he or she would be able to kind of add you to the WhatsApp group. I don't have access to admin rights to do that, but please do that. You can connect with the concerned person whosoever enrolled you, and that should be taken care of. Now, next thing before we sort of get going with this is more about, where are you getting this training from? Does it matter in real world? The answer is yes. Because there are certain institutions where, unfortunately, they've been delisted by a lot of recruiters because of the quality standards they have been. I don't want to name any, but there are many, which is where we do have a leverage. We have been able to maintain a quality standard at IMC because we have always tried to ensure the content is really upgraded, up to date, obsolete things. We keep removing outdated stuff, and we keep ensuring what's relevant in current scenario is what we should be ensuring that's covered, and we all clear from that perspective. So if I talk about the accreditations that IMC has been able to maintain so far, if you have gone through the website, I'm sure you would have seen that IMC is accredited with Council for Six Sigma certification, which is based out of USA. It's accredited with the IQF, which is International Quality Federation. It is accredited with Activate, which is Abu Dhabi, like a regulatory body there, which looks into all technical and vocational trainings. It's accredited with CPD UK, which is for the accreditations that a lot of universities in Europe, they take CPD accreditations. And last but not the least, IASSC, which is UK based global certifying bodies. So practically, we have been able to, as an institution, maintain that credibility. So when you get your certificate, there's a lot of weightage on your certificate. It matters definitely. Does it impact? Absolutely, yes, it does. So from standard perspective, yes, when your certificate is in the market, people recognize that. If people would always value that certificate. So on that grounds, pretty much we've scored all full points there. The second part comes into which is about the knowledge that you carry. So when you get through a job interview based on your certificate that you passed, yes, what's next after that? It's all about the knowledge. And just to ensure that we do not go the same route, and that's what when we do a corporate training, when we do these trainings at universities, well, things are different. They're not just like that, where you just keep going on, and we are not able to connect with the real world scenario. So we try to ensure that the training that we will go through is more from a project-based model. So when we start the training and we end the training, that's how a project will actually start and end. So you have an exact flow of topics clearly understood. Well, what will happen first? What will happen second? So all those scenarios will be clear. So pretty much there will be no gap in terms of your understanding what needs to be used in terms of tools and techniques. So that's what we will be going through. My expectation is to have this levels of training. So there's some projects. I will talk about projects. Yes, it's very important. So the green belt, black belt doesn't matter. Project is a project. Same tools and techniques. We'll understand the difference between green belt and black belt today itself. So that should be clear. But typical Lean Six Sigma project would look like this. Well, beautification is your part, but the content wise, typical project. This is done by one of the trainees, and there are a lot of such projects which keep coming to us for review. Now, about the project part, let's understand about the examination. When you write the exam, you pass the exam, you get the certificate, which is Six Sigma, green belt, black belt stuff. But that's what is required. Like when you pass the exam, you're done. But it's highly recommended that you do a project. You can pick up your own company's work project. Well, that will take time because you will be doing a real world project in that case. We will be giving you data. Well, I'll show you. There is, which you can work on a simulation project. This is a simulation project, how a real world project would look like. So you are advised, recommended, but it's not mandatory. But yes, I would highly recommend that you do a project. Once you complete your training, you should do a project, submit it, and if there's any correction required, there'll be back and forth email discussion exchanges will happen so that you have completed at least one simulation project. We will share the data for you to work on. We'll review the project. You can submit the project. So that is when you also get an extra certificate, which is about project completion certificate. So one is the certificate that you get for passing the exam. Another is about demonstrating that it's not just theory. You exactly know how it needs to be done. You've demonstrated a project, so you can add on your profile as well. So one for Six Sigma training, which you completed and passed the exam. And second is all about implementing and demonstrating the skills of ability to complete a project. So we will highly recommend that. Well, having said that, it's not a mandatory thing, but always recommended because it always makes great impact when it comes to real world scenario. So, okay, I guess, okay, let me quickly go back to screen. Prince, yes, I guess that's the same. The problem is with the network connection because I guess everyone is able to see the screen clearly. The network latency can cause the visuals to be distorted. At times it gets stuck. So that could be just a temporary stuff. So we would like to see at this level of understanding that should be able to create, if I give you data, well, they should be able to create a project out of it. So, well, project data has already been shared. Let me tell you, while we go through this training, as I said, we try to make sure that the training is relevant to the industry. I do a lot of trainings, lots of trainings for institutions, corporates, where people are either green belt or black belt trained, certified, but they don't know how to use Minitab. Now, what's Minitab? It is the most highly advanced statistical software used by Lean Six Sigma professionals globally. All Lean Six Sigma professionals globally. When it comes to corporate world, well, it's about knowledge of Minitab. You must have an understanding, because corporates, when they hire people, earlier the need was that, do you know, have you completed Six Sigma training? Well, pretty much yes. Well, now the need is much more. But do you know Minitab as well? Because I have been doing lots of training for Six Sigma professionals hired by corporates who have never seen Minitab, who have never worked on Minitab. We do a lot of specialized trainings only for Minitab. There's a lot of stuff. Well, pretty much when I go and take the training, this is all what we cover. And while we're going through the training program, this is completely the statistics part, how to use Minitab. Globally, people have been using Minitab stuff. When we talk about this, it's imperative. So it's not just Lean Six Sigma. Having a knowledge of Minitab is very important. So while we do the training, we cover Minitab along with it. So we will do extensive training on Minitab. So you don't have to take extra training, one more enrollment. No. So while you go through this training, we learn it the right way, how it is done in corporate. So when we do corporate training, we do ensure that we are doing a Minitab training. So it's for public batches as well. So while we're going through the training, we'll just not talk about the theory concepts, we'll also do it. So we know exactly the experiential learning is the best learning. If you know how to do it, you don't have to memorize anything. So you can explain everything, you have practical understanding. So we'll try to ensure, while going through all this, while we will be using Excel also. Excel has a lot of statistical analysis features. We'll explore that. But when it comes to green belt, it's fine till Excel. But when it comes to the black belt content, well, Excel will be insufficient. So we will try to work on Excel parallelly. We will be working on Minitab all throughout. So you will have one more extra things to add on your profile, that you're Minitab trained. So you have a complete understanding, because people spend, it's as equivalent as a Six Sigma training expense. So when we conduct these trainings for corporate, only for Minitab, it's as good as your Six Sigma training. So you don't have to invest that extra time and money for getting a Minitab training done. And when you go through a job interview, that's a plus and added advantage that you have understanding of Minitab. Corporate, by default, when we talk about Six Sigma, it's all about 99.99% the corporate will have a Minitab license. It's very expensive for an individual, very, very expensive. But during the training, we will be using a trial version. Trial version is a full version. It comes with 30 days trial version. We will install it, but not right now. Remember, it's a paid version. It comes with 30 days of full trial version, not limited feature. But the only condition with Minitab is that you cannot install on a mobile phone. You can't install this on a tablet. You need to have a proper laptop or a desktop. And if you have installed Minitab trial version once on a laptop or a desktop, you cannot install the trial version again. It's just not possible. Even if you format the PC, you try to install it again, it will catch hold of the MAC ID. You will not be able to install it again. So remember, those 30 days of trial version is very much important, valuable. So if you feel like installing Minitab, please hold it. I will personally come back and tell you when it is the right time to use Minitab, and so that you have enough days in your hand to work on the training part, learn the Minitab, and once you complete it, you will still have some time to explore and practice more on Minitab. Unless you have multiple laptops and desktop, then you may try and install anytime. But if you're just one, please save those days, because 30 days, I want you to use all 30 days and become an expert on Minitab. It will be big added advantage. So I will be sharing all the links to install Minitab, but please wait. I will personally come back and tell you, like whenever we're going to start the Minitab stuff, at least a day prior to that or 2 days prior to that, I'll let you know, well, the time has come. We will start using the analytics part, and please install the Minitab. This is the link, go and install it. But please do not install before that, unless you have multiple laptops. So that's on the Minitab part, and pretty much, okay, so that's we done. And last but not the least here, this is the link for Google Drive. So there will be a lot of material which will be prepared during this training. I'll share a lot of templates, data files, trackers used in Lean Six, a lot of material actually. This is the Google Drive link for this batch. All the material will be going in this folder. So you have access to download the material from this one. Yes, you can open up, view the stuff out here from this link, but you cannot make any changes online. So you can download all the files that you have. So right now, there's a Minitab 19 guide, which is how to use Minitab. Steps are there. We're just for extra stuff, any which ways, we will end up practicing everything on Minitab, but this is just an extra reference document in case future you want to see the steps and all that. They're all like, it's provided by Minitab itself. There are some sample project files data. We will use these data files. And there's a one sample project, which is for reference. And the different types of data files, we will use all these three files for, and these are project files. So we can work on these different types of project. When you come out, like when you start analysis, when you start working on doing a project, you can have three different types of analysis and all these three different types of files. So if you know how to perform your analysis on these three different types of data, well, you're done. There's nothing in the world you cannot analyze. So we'll come back and learn these things. So it's already there in the portal. And day one, because we're having a day one session, nothing is in there. So by the end of day one, whatever material we work on, I'll place that material in the day one folder. So we'll keep preparing day one, day two folders every time. So by the end of the day, whatever we discuss, whatever files we work on, I'll place this in the day one. Let me just quickly take up this question here. I guess Mr. Gulam has a question. You raised your hand. Yeah, you have a question, Mr. Gulam.
No, sir, this is by mistake.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Perfect. No problem. Like we have been given a different link for resources on. Well, that's a different one. This is okay. The one, let me tell you, give the basic stuff here. So one link that you have is for the recording. These sessions are getting recorded. So you have I'm sure you would have received a link on your WhatsApp group that there is a link to download the material and the recordings and all. That's where IMC will be sharing the recordings and all those material with you. This link is for the material I will share. There are two different links. One, which is the recordings and all the material, the data files, so all the extra stuff which will be coming from IMC's end. And the one which I share will be on this Google Drive. So I will share this link. How long? Okay, okay. Let me quickly take up this question here. How long will the Google Drive be up for whole? It will be up throughout the training and even after the training. How long? I may not, like probably at least for. So once you're done with this training, all the material on this Google Drive is like, we will not be adding any more material. So once the training is over, my suggestion is to download all the material. So you have the, like say, when we're done with all the session, just go and download everything on your local system. Just download all of it on your local system. So once we're done with the training, you'll have all of it on your local system. So pretty much, but the drives are generally access available. I am not sure, Manoj, whether it's the lifetime record. For that, you have to check with the program coordinator if the access to the recorded video is for a limited period of time or a lifetime. I may not be the right person to answer that, but yes, please do connect with the respective program, or probably put the question in the WhatsApp group as well. WhatsApp link will be like, so I would request you to please connect with your program coordinator and they will add you to the WhatsApp group for this batch. I don't have access to, because I was also added. So please do connect with your WhatsApp group, with the program coordinator. They'll just get you added. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Yes, Prince, you have a question?
Yes, Mr. Sashi. Just from my understanding, this Lean Six Sigma works only when these tools are there. For example, you give Minitab is a widely used application for Six Sigma. So to implement a Six Sigma or work on projects, companies have to have a certain application like Minitab. Otherwise, it is we cannot function.
No, we can. So those, it's not that we cannot. We can definitely, but see, it's people are leveraging technology. Well, when the work which can be done like 10, 15 days, you could do it in 5 minutes in Minitab. It'll prepare reports, graph charts, and corporates end up buying one license. So it was it's not a rule. Lean Six Sigma is all about project management, quality management, statistics. Well, we can just do it by hand also. We could do it on Excel. But when it comes to the complex situations and specifically the black belt part, that's where you need some paid software, because black belt portion is more complex, which cannot be handled manually or using Excel. That's where you need a paid software. So all corporates where the Lean Six Sigma is practiced, they end up taking Minitab, which is the first choice. I would say 99% by default, they will be at least buying one license. You don't need too much, but corporate will end up buying one license, which is more than enough, because you will just need Minitab for 5-10 minutes. You'll be done. It's very fast, very accurate. You'll fall in love with Minitab when you start using it. There are other options also, cheaper options in the market. Well, corporates who do not invest a lot, there are other options. I can share some name, which is Excel-based paid plugin. They're all options available, which is one is called Sigma Excel. It's a very expensive one, Minitab, but corporates end up buying generally licenses. This is again used for Lean Six Sigma activities analysis. But again, this is a paid version for Excel plugin, 30 days trial version. So corporates who do not want to go with that big expense to start with, they might want to go for a cheaper option. So a lot of options. This is very commonly used. Minitab is expensive. Well, it will depends on the cost of license. Like way back when we talked about in Indian currency, I can talk about this. We can convert that into USD. So Indian currency, 1 year per license cost, including taxes, was about 1.5 lakhs per user, which is pretty expensive, very, very expensive. So, it varies. It varies from time to time and like based on. So you have to kind of touch base with Minitab site on that, and they will be they don't list the price on their site. So you have to connect with them there. They have vendors who will sort of give individual. It's very expensive because it's far better for an individual to get some of the Excel plugins, which are much better in terms of cost. But knowing Minitab is imperative today. Well, so because corporates end up spending a lot of money to train their people on Minitab. So there'll always be a big plus if you have knowledge of Minitab. So we'll cover it up. We'll keep doing things on Excel and Minitab. Where Excel cannot be done, we'll just have Minitab. But because Minitab is specifically meant for Lean Six Sigma, purely meant for Lean Six Sigma. So on that note, but practically this is the link. Let me share the link of this. Having said that, again, I'd like to reiterate, please connect with your respective program coordinator. Get yourself added to the WhatsApp group. I'm already there. You all should be there so we can stay connected and have your questions answered with a specific query or anything. Bottom line, that's a common platform for us to connect and have our problems resolved. This Google Drive link that I have shared, it's for the notes and the material which will be coming from my end. There's another link, which was another Google Drive, I guess, shared by the IMC team, which will have the recordings and all the other information. So I guess we're done with all the basic prerequisite when we start. Well, that's what it takes initially. So we are on track. I hope everyone is fine and okay with it. All questions, general questions. So we will be having the question answers. Like we will go through the sessions. We'll be able to have those the clarity about the questions there. So we'll definitely have those on and off. We'll continue to have those sessions in between. So yeah. All right. So shall we proceed? Is it okay with everyone?
Sir, I have a question.
Yeah.
Like, will we get the same recording in the drive which you are
Yes.
sharing it?
Yes, yes. No, not in the same drive. Not in the same drive. Well, that's for the notes and files that I'll be sharing. There's another Google Drive link shared by the IMC team in the WhatsApp group. That's for the recordings and the material from IMC. So this will only have the material that I will share.
Okay.
All right.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much.
I guess Sami has shared the other link. It's there. So both the links are here. It's right here. So I can quickly click on it and check this out.
Sure, sir.
This is the link Sami has just shared. Yes, and I think so. It's not. Yeah, this is the one. This is the one. So you have both the links in your in the chat. So this is the link which Sami has said. Thank you, Sami, for sharing the link. So this is the Google Drive where IMC team will be sharing the recordings and all the material from IMCSM. That's where I will be sharing the notes, the revised notes and templates, data files, all of the stuff that we'll be creating during the training.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank
Thank you,
you.
Sami. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. How to apply this in quality control in the cement industry. So, well, when you talk about specific industry related stuff, I can share the link of share the different kind of case studies that we have. Please have a look at it. I'm sure you should be able to find it there. It's been long. I've been compiling that, but I can, if you don't find it, let me know on the WhatsApp group. I can try to go and check this out if I can find something where, because it is getting applied everywhere. Right, perfect, I guess. So on that note, we are good to get going now. Now, first thing first, let's kind of talk about this concept of Lean Six Sigma. Now, when we say Lean Six Sigma, is it a one word or two different words?
It's two different.
It's a two.
Perfect, absolutely. Right. So let's start with the Lean thing. So how do you define Lean? Like as per your understanding, what do you mean by Lean? As per you.
To resolve a problem, to make it more leaner, the problem to
Okay, that's perfect.
Eliminate the waste from the
eliminate non-value adding activities or tasks.
Eliminating non-value
waste
practice.
to reduce that waste and work with that lean methodology.
Perfect, perfect. So reduce the waste, eliminate the waste. That is 100% correct. Not the statistical approach, Sami, not the statistical approach. Lean has nothing to do with that, but yes, we'll come back to that. But that is going to come in. It's about reducing waste. We all have kind of mentioned it correctly. It's about reducing waste in the system. Now let's kind of understand in simple terms. Let's try to keep it simple. It's first of all, it's identification and elimination of waste from the process to increase efficiency, without, I guess somebody's mic is on, compromising on quality of product or service. Let's simplify this and understand this one. So this is pretty much when we talk about the basic definition of Lean is all about around these basic stuff. Now, let's break this down in two simple words. So I have a process where I'm manufacturing a product or I'm delivering a service to the end user, end customer. So I have different process steps like step A, which is say department A. Some activities are done in department A. So when we complete these activities, the output of A becomes the input of B step. So now the work is done in B step. Some activities are done, some people are involved. They do some job here also. And then the output of B goes to C. And similarly, this process has, say, 5 different stages. Finally, my product or service is delivered at the end of step E. It takes me, say, 15 days time to complete this entire process. That's what is the basic logic that I have. Now, either a product is delivered at the end of 15 days or a service is delivered to the customer at the end of 15 days. With the knowledge of Lean tools and techniques, what we try to do is we identify, are there activities or steps in this department A? Can we call that as waste? Because every single activity that we do in this department, in this step, there are every activity, and every activity is a cost. Because cost of raw material, cost of resource, cost of machinery, every activity is cost. And we would like to understand, is this activity a waste or not? So every activity needs to be introspected, criticized, and understood. With the knowledge of Lean tools, we haven't discussed anything about how to identify, but the first step is to identify, find the waste in the system, then you can eliminate it. So my first process step is to use the Lean knowledge and identify the waste in this process. Waste which can be called as waste as per Lean definition. So hypothetically, there's some activities in this step. We figured out there are waste as per Lean. And similarly, some activities here also are there, which I can call as waste, as per Lean knowledge. What do I do? First job is done, identification. Knowing the problem is the most important part. If you can, it's like if you have, it's an old proverb, well, sort of, I'll be beating the old trumpet here. It's more about a basic concept, like if you can measure something, you will start seeing improvement. If you cannot measure, you cannot improve. So knowing how bad the situation is, knowing the current situation, like where is the problem, is half the battle won, because knowing will make you aware, and that's when you would like to reduce it. So identification is all about using the lean knowledge, lean tools, techniques, and identify the waste. When you identify, just eliminate it. Hypothetically, I'm saying B is entire step A, B is waste. So now my process step is about eliminating the waste. So now the new process looks like this. Say, these unwanted activities were eliminated. Now this process step just takes 10 days. While I applied my lean knowledge, I identified the waste and then I eliminated the waste. Have I increased the efficiency? Yes. The work which was taking 15 days time, now we're doing in 10 days. Is the customer happy? Yes. Customer is happy because customer is getting in lesser time. Are you happy? Definitely yes. I'm saving a lot of money. I'm saving a lot of time. And everything is, so when we not doing those activities, we're not working on those unwanted activities in step B and step E, we have optimized the process. So the process has been optimized in terms of what? Optimized in optimize what? Efficiency. The process efficiency has optimized cost, time, effort, resources,
Speed and tab,
raw material, etc. Yes, Mrs. Upendra, you have a question?
I was just saying it is the improvement in speed and time.
Yes, absolutely. Yes, you were just coming to that. Yeah, so you're right about that. So lean is all about time. So when you talk about optimizing the efficiency, you have cut down unnecessary waste in the process. The fat process now has turned lean. This process has turned lean now because this process had a lot of waste in it. And what we have done is cut down the waste. Now this process is leaner. But remember one thing, it talks about this clause is very important in lean, without compromising the quality of product or service. It doesn't mean that you want to optimize lean, you want to implement lean, so you will remove, you'll kind of compromise on the quality of product. No, that's when lean is violated. Lean is all about giving the same product and same services without compromising. Well, because you customers cannot, you cannot make the customer suffer because you want to implement lean. So it's without compromising. The product quality cannot change. Service quality cannot change. While you do this, all in all, when we talk about lean, we all simply talk about the speed of the process. It's the concept is simply, can you deliver a product or service faster? That's what we want to understand. By implementing lean, it's all about time. This 15 days to 10 days, that's what is lean. Lean is all about time. The concept is all about time. There's no other version. When you want to implement lean, you're trying to cut down the time. And how do you cut down the time? By identifying and eliminating waste. When you eliminate the waste, your process becomes faster. When the process becomes faster, you increase the efficiency, and that will lead to an overall impact. So lean is simple. When you talk about lean, what does it say? Go and identify, observe the process. The core fundamental about lean, remember, is observation. The only tool which is used in lean is observation. So you look at your process. What do you fix with lean? This is core fundamental of lean. What you see is what you fix. You go and see your process visually with your own eyes and then try and see which things do not fit as per lean. Simple. I'll apply my lean knowledge and say, well, this is right. No, this is right. Yes, this is right. This is right. I'll ask this question, but every process step, I'll apply my lean principles and say, well, does it fit in to be called as lean waste? Yes. So what you see is what you fix in lean. Visual observations. That's the core fundamental which lean works with. The core tool is observation. So let's understand, having said that, when we talk about lean, is it a new topic? No, it's commonsensical. Everyone knows it. Each and every one of us has been implementing lean. Day one, everyone knows it. There's nothing new I can teach you in lean. Every one of you has implemented lean. But yes, we may not be doing it with a purpose. We may not have been quantifying it. We may not have been measuring it. We might be doing it on an ad hoc basis. You may not be probably using the proper nomenclature, but you all have implemented lean. I'm sure a lot of us might have heard about the word Kaizen. Has anyone done a Kaizen in this group? We all have done Kaizen, but we don't know the label. So we have never labeled it that we have done Kaizen projects. You all have done Kaizen projects. So when we go through the concepts, we'll understand that yes, it's the same knowledge. Now we will have certain terminology. We'll have a structured approach of implementing it. So when we use that structured approach, we can start identifying the waste in the system. We can start measuring the waste, and then we can quantify the improvement. And then I can tell my management, see, this is before implementing lean, this is after implementing lean. That's the change. So you can start showing the results to the management. But it's all simple. Why? Because you all know it. To prove that, let's quickly have a look at a quick short video, very quick short video. Well, we have not discussed anything about lean implementation. But let's see. Remember, lean is all about time of the product or service which we want to deliver to the customer. So while we watch out this video, remember, it's the end purpose is to find waste in the system. Waste which is unwanted, what doesn't seem right. We haven't discussed any tools, but let's see. Are we able to identify waste in the system? All in all, I want to deliver the customer, the product or service to the customer faster. Time we have to keep in mind. All you got to do is watch out for every single step and measure the time. How long do you take to do that activity?
The toaster on the right tends to burn the toast.
Counting every step, and we're also measuring time. How long I do this activity. Even by now, a lot of things could have been done better.
Steve, did you want that toast plain?
No. Hey, about the,
I got it.
About the.
I got it.
Really, about the butter.
No, I got it.
She's not letting the customer speak.
Rach, no, really, about the butter.
Okay, here you go.
Rach, one piece would have been plenty. I really wanted jelly on it.
All right, so that's pretty simple, short version of what is lean. I hope we all can figure out what went wrong. What could have been done better to speed up the process, deliver the customer on time, and well, no, that's not for the video. That's not something which can be shared. So yes, and about what can be done about this.
Actually, there are some things we can do improved, like multiple time she worked. Those can be avoided to arrange the task in proper manner.
Yes.
Second, that some of the tasks can be do in parallel to avoid the excess time. So it means reduce the time.
Yes,
And
yes.
so quality is not maintained.
100%.
While that bread has been born and while she's working, so the bread was been fall down. So that is also the quality is not mentioned, and the customers what exactly wanted is not delivered.
Absolutely, yes. And to start with, again, this you should have asked the customer.
Yeah. Okay. I think she has the first most important thing is she has not understood the client requirement.
Absolutely, yes.
The thing is you need to understand the client requirement, and based on that you need to plan things. Once you do that, obviously you can plan better, which she has not done. She has taken the reverse way, and that is the reason she has delayed things.
Everything started from there on. Yes, so she should have understood the customer requirements first. And if you don't understand it, well, you're just preparing something which is not even desired by the customer. It's not your Wilson fancies. You have to comply with the customer expectations. Customer defines quality. Customer should be served exactly what the customer is looking for. So understanding the customer requirement was the first thing. And apart from that, the entire process was a haywire process. No process, no protocols. There was lack of planning about placing the equipment near. Practically, we could figure out a lot of issues in the process. Well, we haven't discussed anything on lean aspect, but we know lean. It's something which is as simple as that. Yes, what we will start putting is labels to a lot of things. We'll categorize different ways to identify, well, this is what I'll call as a transportation waste. This will what I call as motion waste. This will I call as waiting waste. We understand how to categorize it, and then we will apply those rules to find the waste in the system. But trust, there's nothing new. We all know lean. All we will learn is about using lean in a structured way. So one complete day is lean is not a big topic, but what we will go through a one complete day session on lean. We'll go through end-to-end lean completion. So that we'll park it for now. This is just to kind of give you a quick understanding what is lean. So I hope basic idea is clear with everyone. Lean part. Okay, so it's yes, she didn't listen to that proper. Yes, so absolutely, Fahad. We are completely agree with that. So she should have done it in a proper layout, planning. Everything was out of like planning was not there, no way. So lean, when we talk about lean, it's all about observation. Now, when we talk about Six Sigma, it's a very different ball game. Very, very different. Lean and Six Sigma are two poles apart. Well, nothing in common when it talks about lean and Six Sigma. Absolutely nothing in common. So the answer to Six Sigma, well, the definition of Lean Six Sigma is all about statistical approach to reduce variation. But remember the word variation, if you do not include this word, your answer is incomplete. In Six Sigma, Well, you might, so technically when we talk about applying statistical tools and techniques, using data, analysis of data, all that we do. The purpose of Six Sigma is to reduce the variation. When we say variation, we mean defects in the process. So to increase effectiveness. Now, let's break the sentence down and to understand it better. When we say effectiveness, what do you mean by effectiveness? And this is simple as that. Effectiveness is nothing other than your quality percentage. Quality percentage. So when you look at your improving your quality percentage, how do you improve your quality? By reducing the defects. So if your defects goes down, your quality improves. Simple. Well, so we have to first of all talk about what is variation in defect part, which I'm saying reduce variation is basically that we are trying to reduce the defect. We'll understand that part. But how? How do you reduce the defect? That's where the key concept lies. Statistical approach. It's a data-driven approach. The new slogan is that data is the new oil. Everyone wants to capture data. You install one application in your mobile phone, and this application wants to give access, take access from you, but for your messages, your contacts, and every possible thing in your mobile phone. Why? Because everyone understands that in future, people will have control over data, understanding of data will rule the world. And that's what it's all about. Data has its own language. And yes, while we go through this course, we will start understanding the language of data. We'll be able to understand data explains for itself. When data speaks for itself, you don't have to explain anything. It's self-explanatory. Well, pretty much you will have immense control and different perspective to segment, bisect data, and it will give you a new perspective, which is generally not known to us. Now, when we talk about Six Sigma, let's try to kind of get the basic concept here, reducing variation part. When we say variation, what is this variation? So I generally talk about this one. So I'll continue with the same example here. My client gave me a like a order, and I had to manufacture, say, whiteboard marker. So we generally used to write on a whiteboard. So the whiteboard marker and the length of a marker, target length, which was given as 5.5 inches. So that was expectation of the client. My team manufactured some markers, and this is 5 plus, and let's kind of, some markers were manufactured here. These were the length of the markers, and when I looked at the length of the markers, and I would like to kind of make some more 5.5. Okay. Now we are good with this. That's it. Well, is this 5.5? No, that's a variation from 5.5. It's more than 5.5. It's a defect from customer standpoint. Is this 5.5? No, that's a variation from 5.5. It's less than 5.5. It's also a defect. It's again a variation, higher side, lower side variation, higher side variation, higher side variation, lower side variation. So whenever it's off target, less than or more than 5.5 is a variation. Whether it's more than 5.5 or it's less than 5.5, that is a variation, and customer will treat this variation as a defect. So when you're trying to solve a problem, well, when you generally do try to solve a problem, you always go with a lean approach. You use your knowledge, your skills, your techniques, your experience, and say if I'm facing this challenge, I will apply all my lean knowledge and I'll try to solve this problem. Why my process is not making 5.5, why it's creating a lot of variation, why it's creating a lot of defects. I have tried all my knowledge, all my experience, all subject matter experts have worked on this problem. We try to solve this and it gets solved for some time. But again, after some time, the problem resurfaces again. Again, there is a defect in the process. We try to control it again. It gets controlled for some time, but again, the problem resurfaces. So it tells me that something is missing. I'm not able to kill this problem permanently. It keeps resurfacing again. That means there's something missing in my approach, something missing in my way of handling this problem, which is not known to me because I've exhausted everything. Whatever I could have done, I've used my experience, my knowledge, everything. But I don't have any answer why. I do get temporary solution, but that's just temporary. Well, that's when Six Sigma will step in. So Six Sigma is not your first choice, not your first choice. always the last one. When we have tried, tested all options and failed, then use Six Sigma. That's the last option, not the first one. Remember this, Six Sigma projects are very expensive, like because a project is expensive in general. So you don't use a project for every small thing. You pick up a project for things which are become chronic. It has gone out of your control. For every simple thing, you can't start a project. So what you've tried, tested, and there's no way you can solve it. Bottom line, in case of Six Sigma kind of problem, you will experience the pain, but can't explain why. That's when you need Six Sigma. You have a problem. I know I have tried and tested everything, but I'm still experiencing the problem, but I cannot tell you why. If I know why, I can solve it. If I know what is causing the problem, I can definitely go and solve it, but I don't know why. That's when you need Six Sigma, when you need to solve what is not visible. So in Six Sigma, what you can't see is what you solve, which is beyond. So when lean ends, what you see is what you fix. Well, you would try your regular version with the lean version. Try and solve it the way you've been doing it, with the lean knowledge added onto it. Great job. When it fails and you still face problem, then you go about. That means there's something which is not visible, something which is out of my sight, and I need to dig deeper into data to understand those minute level issues which are recreating the problem. I will use Six Sigma. So it's not my first choice. It's always my last choice. But having said that, a quick check with everyone, in case you're aware of it. When I say my process is working at Six Sigma level, anyone knows like what is my process quality percentage or defect percentage at Six Sigma level?
3.4% defect per million of us.
3.4 DPMO, perfect. DPMO 3.99.99966%. Well, pretty much we're good with that. Let's kind of add all these variables. 3.4 ppm. Let's see. They all. So can you elaborate these here? Yeah, I'm just doing that. I'm just kind of listing them down, and we'll elaborate all this. What do you mean by them? Let's kind of. That's what we have. Okay. What do you mean by 3.4? These are, but you have to memorize this stuff. From job interview perspective, from examination standpoint, 3.4 DPMO means defect per million opportunity. I'll explain what's that. 99.996, this is quality percentage at Six Sigma level. So when my process is working at Six Sigma level, what is my quality percentage? My quality percentage at Six Sigma level is 99.99966%. One more 9 is missing here. So that's my quality percentage at Six Sigma level. So we got to keep in mind, people could ask you questions straight away, like give me your process performance in terms of quality percentage if your process works at Six Sigma level. Quality percentage is 99.99966%. In terms of defect rate, you'll say if your process is working at Six Sigma level, the maximum possibility of having a defect in your process is 3.4. In 1 million opportunities, we're given 1 million. So if you're manufacturing 1 million markers, the maximum probability of having a defective marker is 3.4. It's almost like a zero defect. What is the chance of 3.4 in 1 million? It's almost a zero defect. This doesn't stand a chance. And same thing we can explain in 3.4 parts per million. We'll get into details when to use parts per million and when to use DPMO method. Both represent Six Sigma level. We have to understand the difference between opportunity, which we will discuss later, not right now. So they are used in different contexts. Opportunity is a different context, but this is again Six Sigma way of explaining. So when my process is working at 3.4 DPMO, it's at Six Sigma level. When my process is working at 3.4 ppm, it's also Six Sigma level. The different versions of saying the same Six Sigma level, but which version has to be used for communication, we'll have to keep that in mind, because that's opportunity and this is parts, the parts itself. So we will understand the difference. We have to understand that part, and but That will come in later time, most likely about 5th or 6th session, or I guess 5th session is when we'll get into this section. So of calculating and understanding these terms, but this is what you have to memorize by heart, because people will definitely ask questions about Lean Six Sigma. These are absolutely basic stuff with respect to Lean Six Sigma. You have to memorize this. And in the end, later on, you will know how to calculate it. It's not a big deal. But still, even though you know how to calculate, you have to memorize this because they are specific to Six Sigma level. Now, the question is 99% quality good? First of all, is 99% quality a good quality percentage? Just a quick question. Is 99% quality a good quality percentage?
It depends on the industry based. For example, preparing a marker, it would be a good, but in medical industry, it wouldn't be.
Absolutely, but even in now marker, this will be a bad one. But yeah, things have changed a lot. But yes, have to answer to connect to be like, so I'm in line with you when you say with healthcare. Well, definitely yes, this is a pathetic thing to have if you're working at 99%, because gone are those days when one has used to be a market leader, industry leader at 99%. Well, yes, it used to happen about 1990s time frame. Yes, it was there, but today's world, well, it's bad. Any industry, it's bad. Let's see. When I say my process is working at 99% quality, well, what does it mean? 99 out of 100 is my quality. So out of 100, my quality percentage is 99. That means my fail percentage is 1 out of 100. So my quality percentage, my fail percentage. That's what we mean by 99% quality. If I was manufacturing these markers, what it means that if I manufacture 100 markers, only one marker will be defective out of this 100. That's basic concept. So if I have 1% of fail rate, how many markers at 99% quality, how many markers will I have defective in 1 million? 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 zeros. If I make one error out of 100, how many errors I will make out of a million?
10,000.
You're right about that, 10,000. If I make one error out of 100, I'll make 10,000. Basic math, just cancel it out and you'll get 1 out of 100. So that means if I make 1 million marker, I'll end up making 10,000 defective markers, which is bad. Now let's put it next to it at Six Sigma level. What we're comparing is 2 worlds apart, 3.4 defects in 1 million. This is what we're talking about. Globally, there is a change in the mindset. All industry stakeholders, CEOs, CXOs, CTOs, they're switching to Six Sigma. Why? Because gone are those days. Absolutely. If you're working with 10,000 defective markers out of 10, like 1 million, you are doing a pathetic job. You'll be out of business. You're working at 99%. Even in the marker industry, it's bad. So just cannot afford it. Well, industry-wise, people are switching to Six Sigma because this current generation we talk about, this is absolutely intolerant about defects. There's zero tolerance. Well, we are just an option, either as a manufacturer or a service provider. We are all options. We are not invincible. We are not, and this happened to big industries, big companies like Nokia. Well, we know Nokia was omnipresent. They had a complete monopoly in the market. But yes, we don't see it today. Okay, Fahad, it's simply like, if I have 1 out of 100, in the same proportion, I'll have 10,000 out of 1 million. If I just cancel this zeros, I'll get the same thing. So same proportion. Cancel these 4 zeros and cancel these 4 zeros. You're 1 out of 100. Is it clear? Same proportion, same date. 1 out of 100, 1 out of 100. Is it clear? Oh, perfect. So at the same rate, basically. So technically, this is not a choice. It is necessity. So, well, you cannot you cannot survive today with like this kind of performance. How 3.4? That's the performance level at 6 Sigma. We will get to that the calculation part of 6 Sigma stuff. All of these Sigma levels as we go through the subsequent sessions. We'll understand how, because we have to wait where we can go through some of the statistics part before we will do calculations. It's simple. You don't have to, as I said, you don't have to memorize, but since it's related to 6 Sigma, still you have to keep that in mind. But in the end, we'll end up calculating not for 6 Sigma, any Sigma level. Whatever comes to your mind, you can calculate the defect percentage, quality percentage. It all can be explained. So I would not tell you like, just believe me because I say so. No, there's calculation for everything. We'll get into that part. We'll learn it, but with due course of time. Yes, Mr. Vivek.
Sir, frankly speaking, like now these days, I've been hearing that even the 6 Sigma level itself is also not enough.
Yes, you're right.
Like especially
that's the next topic. That's the next topic. Yeah, you're right about that. You're right about that.
So because I'm closely working with the healthcare industry, so these people are the one which is in between, it's life and death situation especially when it comes to the medicines and all.
100%. So that's the next topic I was going to ask. Well, what is this Sigma level? So what is this Sigma level? Now, when we talk about Sigma level, we'll understand basic way. We'll not get into details of it, but because this is going to come at later stage, but still just to get an idea, what is the Sigma level? It's a weird definition. It's a defect measuring scale. It's not about how good you're doing. It measures how bad you're doing. So it measures your defect rate, not about your quality. It measures how bad you're doing. Like it's measuring 3.4 defects in 1 million at 6 Sigma, 3.4 parts per million at 6 Sigma. It's measuring your defects. It's a defect measuring scale. It's a scale of measurement. To measure the defects, you use Sigma level scale. Let's see. Do we have 0 Sigma? Yes. Do we have 1 Sigma, 2 Sigma, 3 Sigma, 4, 5, 6? Does it end? No. It's a scale. It's just a scale. And every number on this scale tells you a certain number of defects that happen at certain number of Sigma. It goes on and on. There's no end to it. And similarly, do you have negative Sigma? Absolutely. Yes. It's a scale which runs on both the sides. Every number on this scale will tell you a certain number of defects. That's it. It's just a defect measuring scale. And now let's put this into context. When we talk about 6 Sigma, and you don't have to memorize all this. We're just trying to get the concept right here. At 6 Sigma, if my process is working, then we say 3.4 defects in 1 million. If your process is making these many defects in 1 million, then you work at 6 Sigma level. Pretty much. This is when you say my process is working at 6 Sigma. If you have this much of defect rate in your process, the question is it the best one? Can we get better than 6 Sigma? The answer is yes. The already industry is working at higher than 6 Sigma. It's not the best. We can get better. When you talk about aviation industry, it's 12 Sigma. Your pharmaceutical industry is around 11 to 12 Sigma, somewhere in between that. Nuclear reactors, space programs, all those, NASA and all, semiconductor. And so on and so forth. So there's some selective industries which are already working at higher Sigma level. 6 Sigma is that Sigma for them. We'll just think about a situation. Would you be comfortable boarding a flight when you know out of 1 million flights that will take off, 3.4 will crash? Nobody would. It will always be very worried about it because it's bad. Like one error is a huge error. One plane crash, I just cannot afford. So many people can die. So this is a critical Sigma level, well, critical industry where we cannot afford to have defects in the process. Pharmaceutical industry, why there's so much of hue and cry about COVID vaccine. Why can't you just make vaccine and give it to everyone? Enjoy. No, one wrong vaccine and so many people can die and irreparable damage. That's why these industries are very, very critical and they cannot afford a 6 Sigma level. It's bad for them, but these are only few.
So what does this, the number means? Like, for example, 6 or 11 or this 12, what does this signify?
It represents the defect rate at like, when we talk about, it's a measuring scale. So you can compare different processes and compare, like, so I will kind of, let me, before we go and get into this, let me quickly help you understand. It is used, so sigma level is used as a metric for comparison and for decision making. Let's understand what. For example, I have an operations team and you're the boss. I have quality team. I have finance, I say HR team, and say sales team. Say 4 different departments. And as a boss, I want to compare these different departments. And I want to find which department is the best department. Well, then can I calculate sigma? Can I compare them? Ideally, should I be comparing them? The answer is no. Well, these are different departments and they have nothing in common. Operation has a different job role, quality has a different job role, HR has different, nobody has a common work. How would you compare? It's like comparing apple with oranges. It's not just done. But can I do it? Absolutely, yes. Would you be fair? 100% fair. And as a boss, I want to do that. So say, for example, when I say operations, so let me give whatever KPI we have for this one. Let's kind of get rid of these operations for now. Just keeping the KPIs to easily kind of work out. Quality has to do some quality inspection. So they were supposed to carry out, say, 200 inspections, and they just managed 175 inspections out of 200. So they could not meet the target. So target of 200 inspection was set by the department, and they did only 175. HR was supposed to hire 50 candidates. They could only manage about 40 candidates out of 50 in the given time. How was the target defined? By the HR department head. The departmental targets, KPIs, we all have targets. Sales was supposed to generate about $2,000 revenue, and say they could manage about 190K out of 200. Okay. Now they have different job roles. What is the fail percentage? Here the fail percentage was 25 out of 200. This is 10 out of 50. Let me keep it this way, 10 out of 50. This was 10 out of 200. Well, if I want to find out my best department, I could find a sigma level for everyone. All I need is defect rate. So if I look at the defect percentage, this is defect percentage. Now I can convert this into sigma level instantly, and I would know who is doing how. And technically, I know this department will have the highest sigma level. Now, initially, I was not able to compare them, but now everyone is on a common scale, which is failure rate. Failure rate. And this can be expressed in terms of sigma level. So it helps you to understand and compare different processes which were not comparable initially. You come up with a universal metric which makes the decision making easy for the decision makers. So sigma level is a defect measuring scale which helps you to compare and take rational decisions and compare the performances, and much more. As we go forward, we'll understand the usage of sigma level. For performance assessment, we use sigma level. So all these numbers represent how bad you are doing, and this because it's a defect measuring scale. But as the number goes high, and just to continue with this one, what we were talking about, these industries are critical industries. So what it tells us that higher the sigma level, these industries are working at a higher sigma level, then it's less defect. So the core concept here is higher the sigma level, lesser the defect. So higher sigma is higher sigma level. Higher sigma level is good. Simple basic concept. Now, if your defects reduces, sigma level increases. It's inversely proportional. So technically, while we talk about these are critical industries and obviously they cannot work with Six Sigma, it's bad for them. We definitely want to reduce the sigma level and take it beyond Six Sigma. But when there are already existing industries which are operating at a higher sigma level, then why we keep Six Sigma level as standard? Why we are studying Six Sigma? Why we don't study 7 Sigma, 8 Sigma, 10 Sigma, 12 Sigma?
Benchmark.
Yeah, it's benchmark for everyone. But why 6 Sigma? Technically, when we have better industries, why? Because a simple logic says you can improve a process up to 6 Sigma with basic like Six Sigma application. Beyond that, it's very, very difficult to reduce any further defects. You generally need automation. And that automation will be very expensive. Millions of dollars will be invested to reduce any more, because human errors will always be there. So you can use the project management principles, quality management principles, you can use the statistical approach and improve the process up to a level of Six Sigma. Yes. Beyond that, it gets very, very difficult to increase the Sigma level beyond that. But yes, these industries, well, they don't have a choice. They have to go for expensive stuff, which is automation. When they go for automation, human error is taken away, and then pretty much Sigma level goes really high.
So basically, is this the accuracy that we're talking about? Like, I mean, like, since we have set a benchmark.
Yes, absolutely, yes.
So if it is 12, since the level has increased, the accuracy will be more.
Yes, absolutely, yes. Higher the better. So yes, is it possible to get better than 12? Yes, they're trying to get it better than 12. So everyone wants to improve. So you achieve 10, you would like to go to 11. You got 11, you would like to go to 12. So you continually work to reduce the defect, and that increases the accuracy level. You're right about that.
So sir, how you define the industries as critical?
Because if the failure, it's more about failure part. Would this failure be a far-reaching effect? Would it have a financial loss? See, basically, which industries would like to go beyond Six Sigma? Do you think every industry would like to go beyond Six Sigma? No, probably 99% of the companies industries will not be willing to go beyond Six Sigma.
Everybody won't have jobs then if everything is automated.
No, it is more from the perspective of cost ROI. Doesn't make business sense. If I just take a simple example, if I were talking about this manufacturing of marker, if I go ahead and achieve a level of Six Sigma, what is the defect I'm making? 3.4 defective markers maximum in 1 million. What's the cost of those 3.4 markers? Nothing. But when I go for automation and here, I will end up spending millions of dollars to automate the process. And that doesn't make business sense. So most of the
criticality it depends on the finance part.
Finance also, moreover, see, financial perspective, it will look into the life risk, because
before you said it depends on like when you said about aviation industry, you were telling about the death can cause
it will be finance also, because the cost of the cost of insurance will come into picture. The airplane crash will cost so it's not just, we don't look at one aspect, it's a totality of it. So does it have a life-threatening, is it a life-threatening stuff? Then it's critical. In terms of cost, well, does it help when you implement a Six Sigma project? Do you want to go beyond that? If it's not a life-threatening situation, but if it makes business viable sense to go for automation, and that will reduce the cost of implementation, or automation is less, whereas the benefit I'll get is huge, then I would rather go for automation. It's more for business logic. Well, how much do I invest and how much do I get? And some industries don't have a choice. If they are critical, then let it be expensive. You don't have a choice. You have to go for automation. So it's more of a business sense. It doesn't make
also part of the quality and the required standard too.
Yeah. So see, basically, it's more for like everyone understands like what is the criticality of the product. Like if I'm dealing with the marker thing, well, if I were be the one who was in decision making, if I get to a Six Sigma level in this one, I would don't even think about getting to a 7 Sigma, because there's no point. Well, 3.4, I'm happy with that. I'm ready to bear the cost of 3.4 defective marker, because the cost of implementation of automation and all of that thing will be huge, and recurring costs, because cost of licenses are there. Why would I like to get into all that hassle? And that will be a recurring cost, because automation comes with an extra cost, and that too annual license charges for those bots that you get into. So it's more expensive. So it's more about what kind of industry you're dealing with. Is it life-threatening? Does it make business sense? If it's not life-threatening, does it make business sense about the investment ROI factor? We'll look into. So technically, just to kind of quickly talk about, won't get into details of it. What is calculated is cost benefit analysis is done, and we look for NPV, which is net present value. If we have time, we can get into this part later, but add that to a later stage towards the end. IRR, which is internal rate of return, and the traditional way is payback period. So financial stuff is looked into.
Yes, sir. So is there any international standard kept for each and every industry? Like
No,
the
nothing
Sigma
is
level?
nothing. It's more, there's no standard for that. It's a best practice. It's a best practice, and there's no such standard for any industry as such. Honestly, there's none.
No, but when you said the Six Sigma level 12 for these 5 industries.
Yeah, these few sections are like people are already, so all aviation working at 12 Sigma? No. Within a so when you talk about and within an airport, so there are every metric. Here I'm just talking about air traffic control. When I say aviation, you go and check out the airport baggage control. It's horrible, 2.5 Sigma at the max, because so many baggages are lost. And so technically for within one company, no company is 6 Sigma company, no industry is 6 Sigma industry. Every single KPI, you can calculate Sigma level. So for cost, I can calculate Sigma level. For accuracy, I can calculate Sigma level. For attrition, I can calculate Sigma level. For average handling time, I can calculate Sigma level. For every KPI, every metric that is important for business, you can calculate Sigma level.
So I want to add something.
Yeah.
I think in pharmaceutical industry, the US FDA, the regulatory agency, do have this regulatory requirement.
Absolutely, yes.
That whenever you do manufacture, the defect had to below a certain level. And I think for injectable, it is 6 Sigma. For injectables, it is 6 Sigma.
So I'm
so
sure
it has been made mandatory by the regulatory requirement.
Then like, so there are the regulatory government regulations, and that too will vary from different in like industry to industry. If there are regulations, then so those regulations will supersede if the industry is there, because the food industry has a different requirement, and for pharmacy there could be different requirement. For probably construction there could be different requirement. For automobile sector there could be different requirement. But industry wise there could be different benchmarks created. Some benchmarks are there, but it's not a regulation. For example, having an ISO standard is more of a benchmark. Is it mandatory to have an ISO? No, it's a best practice. Would you like to do it? Yeah.
For pharmaceutical, I think it is mandatory.
Mandatory, 100%.
Yeah, it is like, mandatory. It
not
is
every time
regulatory.
It's a not everything could be regulatory. Well, in case of a pharmaceutical, 100% it's regulatory, because it has to be, because again, life and death situation is as attached to it. So wherever there are critical industries, there'll always be regulatory implications. When it is not, then we just simply go with the industry standards, because the benchmarks, in global standards, we would like to improve our standards to attain that level. That's a choice of the company to go for it. But when it's regulated, then there is no choice. So it's more from industry to industry, things will vary. So the Sigma levels is sometimes could become a performance metric by regulation, then you don't have a choice. But otherwise, it's more of a need of the company to explore different areas where we are struggling and improve the performance level there. So there are different challenges. Every company has so many different areas where they want to improve every area. And then you end up picking a project out of that problem, because you can't solve everything with one single project. So you select a project. So we'll talk about those methods, how you go about selecting a project and all. But bottom line here, when we talk about the scale, it's all just going to tell you how bad you're doing. And higher is good, lower is bad. So technically, when your process is at 50% defect rate, and you don't have to memorize this, we'll know how to calculate all this stuff. You are at 0 Sigma. Why I'm talking about this? Because the moment you have more than 50% defect rate, so more than 50% defect rate will take Sigma level to negative. So higher the defect rate, lesser the Sigma level. So it's inverse. So if your defect increases, Sigma drops. If defect reduces, Sigma goes up. 50% is technically the threshold, the bench, like at 50%, which is bad. But yeah, that's where if it's more than 50, it's 50.1, it will be a negative Sigma. We will end up doing, as black belts, we'll calculate Sigma levels in multiple ways: manual method, formula-based method, Minitab, and there are a lot of versions how we will. And as black belt, we have to know all methods, because your stakeholders would come from different background. Different people ask questions differently. You can't say, well, I don't know. So we will be able to solve a problem, given any problem, and give me the problem, I'll have an answer. So when I talk to people, well, people may not understand sigma level. So I have to explain, well, at this sigma level, your process quality is so and so. So I should be able to convert a defect into sigma and sigma into quality and vice versa. So we'll do all that math, the simple calculations, all those things will be covered by default.
Shashi, I just have one question.
Yeah.
In this example where you've taken on the functions, right, and we have calculated the failure rate, right? Now, there is the possibility that a certain, I mean, taking the same example, right? For example, the HR wala, right? 20% failure rate. Now, that is something that internally, as a function, it is okay to be at that rate, considering the nuances of the function and all, right?
Right.
Does it still make sense to calculate the failure rate at that point? Because now, for example, say a 0.05 at a failure rate, it is much lower than the other function.
Yes.
But
yes.
As a function lead, I may not be okay with it, right? Then how does this failure rate?
Then you want to set a higher target. Then in that case, so I measure my performance level here. Then I set a benchmark for myself. Now, what do I want to? This is my current status. I'm not happy. Probably these are not happy at 5% failure rate, and they're happy with 20%. It's quite possible. They might want to, so as a department stakeholder, you might want to set up, so I have gauged my current status. Now I would set a higher target, and that will be my project objective. From here to here, we have to make a leap. So pretty much you understand my base, when I baseline it, when I get to know where do I stand, that's when you rightly said, yes, I might want to decide where do I want to be and where I am right now. So I can start a project in that case. In certain scenarios, I may not want to do it. In certain scenarios, I might want to do it. So it's just about assessment of your current status right now. So I can see and understand, does it need an improvement? Do I really care about it? Do you need to kind of go ahead and improve it further or not? So you'll be able to see, it's just about assessment of current status.
Got it. So basically, this is like a baseline which kind of tells you where you are.
Yes, absolutely.
And then you can decide on the efforts and time that goes into, and then agree whether we want to do a project.
Absolutely, 100%, without any doubt. That's the baseline. So having that, we'll just cover up. I will be sharing all the sheets. So I do prepare detailed notes. So I'll be sharing all of it. If you are preparing your notes, well, great. But still, I'll put that in the Google Drive. So at the end of every day, we'll be working out. So okay, because generally we take a break after 1.5 hours of the session. So is it okay? We can take a 15 minutes break. We come back and we resume the session. All right, please, let's then connect in next 15 minutes as per our respective time zone. Let's connect in 15 minutes from now.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. welcome back everyone from the break. I hope everyone is back.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes, Sashi.
Thank you. Thanks. So before going the break, we just talked about briefly about what is Lean and Six Sigma broadly. We haven't gone into details of it, but just to give a quick perspective of what is Lean and Six Sigma. Lean is all about observation. Look at your process, apply your Lean knowledge, and fix those things as you have been doing in all the real world scenarios. Now, when we tried and tested and failed all those methods, then you get into data. You collect data, you analyze data using various statistical tools and techniques that you learn. You'll be able to figure out why that is happening. The entire story of Six Sigma is about finding out why, because we have not been able to find out. That if we know it, then pretty much we'll solve it. The reason why I'm required to go for Six Sigma, because I'm not able to figure out why it's happening. I've tried and tested everything. So you'll need some sort of data analysis method to understand why that is happening. If I know why, I'll be able to solve it. That's pretty much the basic concept of Six Sigma is all about. I guess a couple of people have questions. Vivek, you have a question? I see your hand.
No, I'm done.
Okay, okay. And how about Prince?
Yes, Mr. Sashi, I mean, if in a later stage, would you explain like why, how did this name originate six, and what is this, how did this white, yellow, black, how did this originate?
Yeah, we'll be discussing. Has to be discussed. Yes, so we'll be definitely all this. We'll be covering it. Yeah. So just starting from strategy, some of us might have gone through some material, or probably might have worked on Six Sigma in their organization, or like, and some must be just the first time we are getting like coming across these terminologies. So we will be starting from scratch and we'll be going till the end. So we'll understand the role of what is a yellow belt, what is a green belt, what is black belt, what is master black. All that stuff has to be understood before we actually get into the Lean Six Sigma content. So we'll be covering all those things. Now, in continuation with this, we'll be covering up a small.
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello. Hi, sir. I am working within service industry. So please give some example in relevant to service industry also.
Yeah, Pavan. So it'll be like mix of both the things. Will be just, as I said, like we just try to make sure that we understand the concept here, because then there will be certain areas which will has to be about manufacturing, because that's where there's some things that are certain things applied, but we'll keep it a mix of it so that it will be easy for everyone to understand and correlate. We're not trying to get into a specific industry, but yes, we're trying to keep it balanced for everyone so that everyone can relate. And rather, even when you talk about manufacturing, we're not going into hardcore terminologies of manufacturing. We're just trying to make sure the basic concepts which are generally we all can relate with. And that's where we picked up as a marker. Well, you can pick up anything from a service industry out here also. It's just a basic concept we're trying to understand. So we're not getting to a specific industry, and we're not getting to detail. We're just trying to use day-to-day life examples to understand what is Six Sigma. So if that's why we sort of reiterated in the beginning. If we understand the concept, then we will never have this confusion as to how does it apply in our real world. Concept has to be understood. So we'll sort of keep a balance of all the different stuff, because it has to be understood in entirety, because the questions will be asked in the exam or during the interview process from every possible area, because they would not be testing a department or like stuff. They'll be testing the overall knowledge of Six Sigma. So pretty much we'll kind of cover up. We'll keep a balanced approach so that we understand the concept, right? All right.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pawan. So we'll quickly start with history of Lean and Six Sigma. Honestly, I'm not too interested in the history per se, but from exam standpoint, yes. From interview standpoint, it is applicable. So we'll not do too much of deep dive into history, but some bit of information is definitely required. So where did the Lean start? Well, the official information where we have evidence available, it all started with Ford Motors. Ford Motors is where the application of Lean. The word Lean did not come from Ford, but Ford Motors were the first one to implement Lean in terms of white paper is available, data is available, facts are available. It started with Ford Motors, but actual word Lean came from Toyota. Toyota Motors is where. So basic, let's kind of talk about first to Ford Motors. These guys, well, the CEO was Henry Ford, who sort of incorporated like this change in the production methodology. At Ford Motors, not only Ford Motors, globally, all manufacturing used to happen through something called crafts manufacturing. Now, what was craft manufacturing? Here, since we're talking about Ford Motors, we'll stick to cars only, but in general, this is how everywhere the production used to happen, the manufacturing used to happen. Cars were stationary and people used to move from one car to another. Cars were built at one place. It was a very slow process. The production capacity is reported as 30 to 35 cars per month. That's it. So it was very, very bad process. So technically, just try to kind of like sketch it just to give a quick idea about this. Like in case of car manufacturing, they were like, say there is one car which is built here, another car which is built here. They're fixed at one place. They're locked at one place. So if I'm fitting in a bulb in a car, I will move with all the bulbs to this car, fit in the bulbs, drag remaining bulbs to the next car, fit in the bulbs in this car, drag remaining bulbs, go to this car, fit in the bulbs. Somebody is fitting in tires, is moving with all the tires to this car, fit in the tires, drag remaining tires to this car, drag remaining tires to this car. It was a very, very slow process and a lot of manual movement was happening. These guys changed this method to assembly line concept, which is till date used by everyone. Conveyor belt concept was introduced. What happened in this one? The cars became, people became stationary and cars started moving on a belt. This increased the production. So production increased by 3 to 4 times because there was less movement done by people. You're not supposed to drag material from one place to another, which saved a lot of time. The production capacity increased. Well, that's what is lean. Speed of the car, speed of manufacturing. So one car, they used to take roughly about 1 day to make one car. Now they were making about 3 to 4 cars in 1 day. The car production capacity increased enormously. That lean was implemented. So lean is all about speed of the process, and that's what they did. So this is what started the concept of mass production. For every other industry, they copied this principle and they found it very effective. Everyone copied the assembly. Even till date, we follow assembly line. Now, when we talk about Toyota Motors, just a quick background of this Toyota Motors. This, the Japanese company, well, post Second World War, the entire country was in a bad shape. Well, they were engaged in war for pretty long time. And so the economy was in a bad shape. Plus, because of bombardment, the economy had crippled a lot. So the country had one option to break down and file for bankruptcy. That was one choice. Other choice was a difficult one to move up north. You don't have enough resources. You don't have enough capital. You don't have bad infrastructure. But whatever you have, create best out of it or create best out of nothing. That's what was the basic philosophy. And as a nation, everyone took that as a responsibility to use the existing resources to the best possible way. Now, if you talk about Toyota Motors, who introduced the lean word, came from Toyota. Well, these guys implemented the lean tools and techniques, the principles. They call it as Toyota production system. Well, these guys understood that I can't beat Ford Motors. They are massive. They have monopoly. They're giants. We can't beat General Motors. They had complete monopoly in the market. We can beat them only in quality because they have excellent infrastructure. They don't have problem with capital. We have all the problems. With the given resources, let's create and craft a car which people would love. And this car should be less costly than the Ford Motors or General Motors. This car should be more reliable, robust, less warranty claim, less issues, comfortable, mileage-wise, it should be good. All those things were looked into, and they crafted a best product using the lean tools and techniques. And finally, yes, this method became popular. People loved Toyota cars, and soon it became talk of the town. People sort of were, started investing in Japan. The problem was resolved in terms of the monetary, the capital stuff. Investors were putting in money because Toyota was the talk of the town. This lean sort of became a big game changer for entire country, and people were sort of always started keeping Japanese quality as benchmark. The best quality is Japanese quality. That was even till date, Japanese quality is known for the robustness. Even Toyota cars are till date, when it comes to robustness, there's nothing better than Toyota when it comes to robustness of it. Now, this sort of gave birth to Six Sigma because Japanese companies were flourishing. Not only Toyota cars, every other industry in Japan was flourishing. They had unlocked this so-called lean, and people were still struggling to find out how they are able to do it. The world was finding 90% quality a challenge, and these guys were striking 99% kind of quality. Well, they were unbelievable quality at that point in time. 99% was a game changer. Now, that was the time when one more giant was struggling because of lean, because all the companies, all investors were moving towards Japan, and those companies where all these like the lean principles, and specifically Japan, where all the lean principles were followed and understood the best possible way. Anyone knows where Six Sigma started? Where did Six Sigma start? Which company?
Motorola.
General Electric. No, Motorola. Motorola is where it started. Motorola was giant in terms of monopoly. They had two products, Motorola Pager and Motorola Walkie-Talkie, which was used by security guards, police officials, and all those. These guys started getting tough competition from newly started companies in Japan, which were manufacturing pagers much better than Motorola was doing. There were walkie-talkies which were manufactured in Japan, which were much cheaper and durable than the Motorola one. People had things to compare now. There were no choices earlier. So whatever Motorola was giving, people had to accept that was complete monopoly. But now people had choices and a better choice. So Motorola significantly lost its market share. Investors started pulling out money. That's when CEO of Motorola, Bob Galvin, he gave a project to his senior scientist in research and development. His name is Bill Smith. He's known as father of Six Sigma. Along with him, another gentleman, Dr. Michael Harry, spelled as M-I-K-E-L, Michael Harry. He's referred as co-architect of Six Sigma, I would say assistant scientist. These two people were given a project to come up with something which can beat the so-called lean, otherwise they will be out of business. And in 1986, they announced it to the world that they have come up with something called Six Sigma. Now, what is the Six Sigma? Nobody had any clue. What is Six Sigma? They announced that this is a technique through which we implement projects to reduce the variation. It can help you achieve this level of performance, which is 3.4 defects in 1 million, which is quality percentage of 99.99 and 66%. Well, unbelievable for everyone. Even Japanese got shock of their life because 99% was an unbelievable performance level. But this was pretty much an eye-opener for Japanese people. Well, is that also possible? Yes. Japan regained, like this Motorola regained everything they had lost. Market share, investors, well, they became the choice for everyone. Well, thanks to Bob Galvin. He was a noble soul, never wanted to keep it as secret information and wanted the industry to benefit. So they invited companies to come in Motorola, see how Six Sigma projects are done, how quality management, statistics, all are applied to improve the process quality, reduce the defect, reduce the variations in the process. And finally, a lot of companies learned it. Big names stepped in, bigger than Motorola, but in different section. Allied Signal, Honeywell, then we have ABB, Asian Brown Boveri. These were big giants who stepped in to Six Sigma world. And then they started reporting huge benefits. The benefits in terms of cost saving, not revenue, cost saving in billions of dollars. People were not making revenue of billions of dollars. They were saving cost because of Six Sigma. Well, pretty much people, it became very, very popular. And finally, the big name stepped in. In 1995, General Electric, giant. General Electric was led by Jack Welch. Jack Welch was the CEO of General Electric, he incorporated Six Sigma's company philosophy towards continuous improvement. So if you want to go for continuous improvement, well, let's pick up Six Sigma. So the entire company, it's still there when it big, they were into almost everything. Well, these guys incorporated Six Sigma. It became, they were a sort of very, like they implemented Six Sigma on their own processes, in own businesses. They did it for their clients, and they became consultants of Six Sigma, that you got a problem, hire us as consultants. We'll solve the problem using Six Sigma. They made it popular. The real name and fame Six Sigma got was because of General Electric. Okay.
Sir, one doubt. For example, you have told about the motor company, then the Honeywell and ABB, which are in the automation. So,
Yes.
any stories like how did they? Because these two are different industries, so they have learned from Motorola. So, for example, Honeywell. So, how did they implemented this Six Sigma into their system? So, so to integrate and to make sure that they meet this level of accuracy.
I can get that for sure. I can get that. So the case studies are definitely available. So I can get that. If you are looking for case studies, I can definitely get to. Like I have to kind of search, but I will be able to find this case study here, like what they did, because ABB is still using. I have trained people in ABB even right now, through IMC platform also. There are a lot of participants from ABB who are implementing Six Sigma. So
it will be interesting to understand, because I have worked with Honeywell, not in the Honeywell, but I have worked with Honeywell. So it will help for me to understand that how they have improved their system.
Absolutely, yes. I can get that. So this is won't be difficult to get. So I should be able to get this, and I'll share that case studies with the group. Right.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Anil, what course by? Well, so we are going to cover up everything. See, okay, that's what we'll be talking about, the stages. So yellow belt, green belt, black belt. So you're covering everything in this course. The master's program includes yellow belt, green belt, black belt, all covered in. I'll tell you the basic. It's more from a marketing gimmick when you say yellow belt, green belt, and black belt. So we'll understand what are the different belts and what is the content that you cover in there. So we'll understand the concept. So you are going to learn everything from the scratch and go till 100%. So we're starting from 0 and going till 100%. So your yellow belt will be covered in that, your green belt will be covered, the black belt will be covered by default. So technically black belt is the bigger subset, the 100%. A portion of it, if you take 60% of the black belt, it will be a green belt content. If you take 20% of the black belt, it'll be a yellow belt content. So you are covering everything. So everything gets covered by default. So you don't have to take up separate training for a yellow belt or a green belt. You're doing a black belt master's program, you learn everything from the scratch and go to the end. So we're going absolutely in baby steps. Now, coming to the General Electric part. Now, when these guys incorporated Six Sigma, and we'll go and study this different phases of Six Sigma, DMAINC. That's the framework of Six Sigma. D for define, M for measure, A for analyze, I for improve, and C for control. What do we do in every phase? That we need to definitely understand. High level. Here, we select the right project. As a business, you might be struggling with a lot of things. You might have to do the cost reduction. You might have to work on improving the quality of the process. You might be you might be struggling with your average handling time, probably complaints. There can be a lot of issues. You can't solve every problem with one single project. So selecting the right project is very important. So that's what we do in define phase, is we understand what problem needs to be solved. So this is purely about project management. People who come from a project management background or who have taken a PMP training will see that all those tools which we use in project management will be applied here. No statistics, it's just about pure project management stuff. Measure phase is all about when you decided the problem, then you pretty much collect data. When I say collect, reliable data, very important to have reliable data for baselining the process performance. So you've got to understand how bad is the situation. So you have to collect reliable data. The word emphasis is on reliable, because if the data is wrong, your analysis will be wrong. So it's very important to statistically validate the data you're collecting, the performance you're looking at, is that correct data? Because if you have wrong, you will have entire analysis will go in the wrong direction. So again, Here is when you start with your quality management and statistics will come into picture. Data analysis will start here. In analyze phase, well, the reason why you picked up a project because you could not figure out what is actually causing the problem. So here you apply statistical tools to find the root causes, which we are not able to generally figure out. So root causes, when you find out why, that's what you got to do. Analyze phase, you apply different types of, and there are lots of statistics involved here. So again, it's about quality management and statistics used here. Improve phase, well, you have a project, then you have a target. You would have been given a target to achieve something like reduce the average handling time, improve the quality, reduce the cost, whatever may be the project target. So achieve the target. And here also, when you want to achieve the target, there will be usage of quality management and statistics. And finally, the control phase is all about sustaining the improvement. But there's no fun in improving a problem, like solving a problem, and again, the problem resurfaces. It doesn't happen in Six Sigma. If you improve something, it will stay improved. The technique, the typical project improvement will generally happen like this process. It will improve, and then slowly, steadily, you'll see the performance dipping and you'll start seeing the problem. Not in Lean Six Sigma. You improve something, there's a sustenance, control phase. You statistically maintain this level. You lock the process at this level. Now the DNA of the process gets changed. Pretty much your performance gets stabilized at this level. That's the control phase. When you achieve the project gets over, you pick up a new project again. Again, you improve with a new target, achieve that, again, sustain it. There's a step ladder approach. One project gets over, another starts, another. So you might want to decide when do you want to stop, but you always sustain. So never fall back because your process is locked in a statistical mode at this level. So the control phase plays that critical role. Well, let me tell you, Six Sigma people did nothing in the last part. Why? Because when you talk about this Bill Smith and Michael Harry, well, these guys were biggest copycats. Why? Because the last phase, which is control phase, it's all about control charts. Control charts are called as SPC charts, are also called as statistical process control charts, or they refer as control charts or referred as Sheward charts. Why? Because Dr. Walter Sheward introduced this control charts in 1920s. Six Sigma came in 1986. But these were tried, tested, proven already. People were using it. They were successful. But this gentleman is known as father of statistical quality. This guy was responsible for getting the control charts already in the place. These guys just copied and made a control phase out of it. That's it. Well, these were different phases that you will be going through in a Six Sigma project. You'll have to start selecting a project, collect the data, validate the data. Is it authentic, reliable? Can I trust the data? Perform your statistical analysis to find your root cause, what is actually causing the problem. When you know the problem, you can go about solving it and then sustaining the improvement by putting the control charts.
So can we call this as risk management also to stay in the
management will come. Yeah, so this risk management will start here and will go till here and will not end here. So risk management will be 100% a part of it. Now,
and solutioning will be a part of improve, Shashi.
Which one? The risk management.
So, no, solutioning.
Solutioning is here. This is achieve the target with solutions. So you want to, when you find the problem, you will improve by putting them, getting the strategy. So when you know the problem, you can always devise solutions about it. So solution is all about improve. Now, having said that, when you talk about these phases, original version of Six Sigma had only 4 phases. Motorola version was 4. Measure, analyze, improve, control. When General Electric picked up Six Sigma, they said, you guys have definitely created an amazing method of improving the process, but you are missing a trick. Well, you are just picking up any problem and you're starting a project. Well, you do not have abundance of everything. You have limited stuff. You have scarcity of resources. You have limited budget, limited time, limited resource. Practically, you have to use the money, the time, resource in a proper planned way and do justice to that. So, well, these guys were the ones who were responsible for adding D to it. Older version of Six Sigma had Mac. It became DMAC post General Electric picked it up. The real name and fame of Six Sigma came from General Electric. They made it popular. Even till date, their way of life in General Electric is Six Sigma. Everyone from top to bottom understands what Six Sigma is. These guys, well, even if you want to get any management role in General Electric, you have to have a Six Sigma certification. They are so critical about Six Sigma. So pretty much it's the way of life for them. But having said that, that's how sort of things evolve, starting with Lean and then eventually led to a Six Sigma. So this is Six Sigma will take your performance to absolutely new levels. Lean is all about baselining, stabilizing the process. Lean is all about making sure the basics are done correctly. This is basics, non-negotiable. Well, you may want to do Six Sigma or not, your choice. It's a project. So people who have come in from project management background would understand the terminology about project management. Projects are called temporary. Projects are temporary by nature. So projects, characteristics of feature of project is they're temporary. They're unique. They have a start date and end date, always. So they're picked up for a purpose to achieve it. So they are unique in nature. You pick up a project to solve a business problem. That's a unique problem. It's temporary because it will start and end. Projects will always end. So you don't have a project which goes on. And that's different from operations. Operations is day-to-day, daily job. What you do every day, we go to office, 9 to 5 kind of job. That's what is operations. That's not project. So when you talk about lean is 100% operation stuff. It's hygiene. You may not have Six Sigma, it's okay. But this is foundation. This is base of everything. Lean is non-negotiable. Lean has to be there. But Six Sigma is your choice because you might pick up a project to solve a problem, but foundation has to be there. Whatever may be the case, companies where they have great lean culture, Six Sigma will show its true impact there. But companies where they have bad lean culture, Six Sigma will struggle there. So it's very important to understand the foundation hygiene is lean. So we cannot compromise on lean at any cost. Six Sigma is definitely it's going to take it to an exponential growth, but foundation has to be strong. And that's what is lean all about. Yes, Stephen, you have a question.
Mr. Shashi, can you rediscuss about the type of waste in the lean process?
Yeah, we will be discussing all the ways. We will be discussing. We have one complete day where we'll do all the discussion about lean. So we just briefly on a high level, we discussed about what is lean. So it's more to get the idea. We haven't discussed anything on lean or for the matter Six Sigma. It's just a day one. It's more about understanding the basic whereabout what is lean, what is Six Sigma, how did it start, the different belts. So tomorrow when we meet, we'll be actually starting with the defined phase and all those things. So we will have one complete session on lean. We'll be starting with lean from the scratch and we'll be closing the lean in the same day. So it's not a big topic, but yes, we'll cover up the different waste identification, how you identify waste, how you map the waste on a process map, and then you go about eliminating. The principles of lean will be applied. So we'll discuss that, all that in detail.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Now, quickly moving on to this DMAC, where we're talking about. Now, is this the framework of Six Sigma, DMAIC? Is it the only framework? No, absolutely not. Do you apply Six Sigma other ways also? Yes. So frameworks of Six Sigma is what we need to also understand. There are two versions generally we use is DMAIC, which we already discussed, DMAINC, DMAC, which let me copy paste, save time. This is the standard version. 99% of the time, you will always be using DMAC framework to solve a problem. But there's other version also, which is DFSS. This stands for Design for Six Sigma. Now, let's understand the difference between DMAIC and DFSS, because DFSS has, again, two versions. So we'll discuss that. First, let's understand DMAC versus DFSS. When you wish to improve a process, say I have a process which is going fine, but I believe I can do better. There's scope for improvement. You want to optimize the process. Or there's a process where there are complaints, escalations, issues. It's absolutely bad. I need to improve that also. I have to optimize the bad process to a good one, a good to a better one. That means I have an existing process. So for implementing DMAC, you must have an existing process which needs improvement. An existing process pretty much means we have historical data. If you have historical data, the process is already operational. You can look at the data, understand the data, analyze the data, and then pretty much go about solving the problem through DMAC version. You must have an existing process. DFSS is about creating a new one. You're not improving an existing. This is about creating a new product, service, or design statistically as per client requirements. Then you work on DFSS. It's about creating something, not updating, not improving. It's creation. Your COVID vaccines, that's DFSS. You created something, did not update. You had nothing before that, nothing called COVID. So yes, it was a new creation. So anything which you create, you look at innovation, they're all from DFSS version. Bottom line, you're not improving an existing one. For example, I'm in a, say, software industry, and I provide my software solutions to my clients. One of my clients who's been using my software for like good 10 years now is happy. His work is going fine. One day he visited his friend, and his friend was using some software which was very advanced. With one click, he would get graphs, charts, analysis all done, emails dispatched, everything was possible. So he got fascinated. So he comes back and says, Shashi, I want you to give me similar features in this software. But with all due respect, well, I replied to my client, well, sorry, with whatever you're looking for, there's no way I could give you those features. Well, what you're talking about is latest technology, the platform, the coding, the language, all those things which used in that software is different from what we are what you're using. The one you're using is an old version. I can't give you this latest technologies in the old version. Well, having said that, you need one, I can make one for you. So help me understand your requirement. I will take down your requirements and I can create one for you exactly what you want. So here we design and develop a solution as per customer requirement. And how do you do it? First, you create a prototype which is statistically designed. And the same goes in the case of COVID vaccines also. We had a need. We wanted to create something new, which is not done before. So we talk about DFSS version, this is purely about bread and butter for people in research and development. This is 100% they deal with research and development. That's what you always end up using. Now, there is a tool, a statistical method, which is used in DFSS, which is called DOE, which is used to drive DFSS, which is called design of experiments. Highly complex, very, very complicated tool. We will be covering DOE. So it is right here. We'll go to the minute, but that's the last topic. Very honestly, confusing, complex, but very powerful. DOE is right here. The industrial designing of product or statistical designing is done. So we'll cover up DOE here itself. But yes, this DOE part is something which is very advanced. But to understand DOE, you have to have a crystal clear understanding of this, because all the tools that you learn here are combined together and you have a DOE. So this is nothing different. All those tools combined together is going to be applied here. DOE is a standalone piece which can help you design, develop everything in one piece, and you have a statistical output where system tells you what to change in your process to get a desired output. Well, pretty great tool. But yes, we will get there once you're done with the MAIC, because that's what you will be doing always, because you always have a process. But having said that, if I am working on DMAC version, can I use this advanced tool? Absolutely, yes, 100%. Well, you know something more advanced, you can use it. Obviously, I can use DOE in my regular projects also, because this is more advanced. I can definitely use it. So having that knowledge is definitely a big plus. Now, how do I implement DFSS? There are two versions. One is DMADB. Let me write it this way. DMADB. Two ways of implementing it, and IDOV. Okay, we'll get the difference. We'll be able to understand what is the difference there. So define, measure, analyze, it's the same. Design and verify. Because you're designing and developing a product or service. This is identify, design, optimize, and verify. Now, what is the difference between DMADV and IDOV? Let's compare them. Here, I'm taking an example of like a product for the product matter. If you create a new product, which is new for the company, but not new for the world, it is a DMADV one. We'll take an example, but here you create a new product, which is new for the company and for the world too. First one, let's talk about DMADV. Which one would be a DMADV? We've been hearing about this electric cars, the Tesla guys, Elon Musk. Well, Elon Musk has been always in pioneering the SpaceX program and this Tesla stuff. He's been into electric cars. Now we've been hearing that these guys are going to come up with mobile phones now. Well, is it a new product for them? Are they starting a new product line? Definitely yes. Is it a new thing for the company? Yes, they are starting a new venture, which is going to be into mobile phones. Is it new for the world? No, we already have too many mobile phones. We've got the best of the phones in the market. We've got an iPhone, we've got Samsung and plenty other brands which we have here. Bottom line, it's definitely a new thing for the company, but it's not new for the world. But you're creating something from the scratch. You're creating a new product. It's new for you, definitely, but a product of similar nature is in the market already. So it's relatively, I'm not want to say that's very easy, but it's relatively easy as compared to the IDOV. Here, because you have some existing products in the market, you can use those products. You know which is the market leader. What is the customer looking for in that kind of product? Say, for example, I want a phone to be manufactured, like in Tesla guys, now they want to get into mobile phone. Well, they know the best of the phones. Generally, we talk about an iPhone, which is the best one, camera quality, battery backup, or security, and all those things. Well, I can ask my team, the research and development team, I can give them the phone. Well, this is how the phone should look like, the dimensions. I can tell them exactly how it looks like. We'll touch, feel, use the product, understand how it functions, break it down, dismantle the product, understand everything, and then create a better version. So you give them the specification, I want better than this. So you have something to look at, something to use, some reference point is there. You can go back to your audience, you can go back to the people and understand what different they want to see in this one. And I can create something new. So bottom line, I have some reference, I have somewhat data, not directly because I don't have it myself. I've not created the product. I'm doing it for the first time, but there are industry related data available. It's somewhat easy to work with. But again, designing is done statistically. Here it's in a situation of the COVID vaccine. We're creating, it's a pure invention. We're chasing an idea. We don't know how it's done. Nobody has done it before. Well, there was a need to have a COVID vaccine, yes, but how do you get there? Do you know how to do it? Pretty much no. We have developed other vaccines, but we had no idea. When they started initially, we had limited information about the genetic sequence of COVID strains, and now the mutations are coming in, all those things. But bottom line, we were chasing an idea that it should be able to solve this. I knew the purpose of it, but I don't know how to create it, how it should be tested. When would I say? So how long will it take? Probably 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. We were just making speculations. And this is where the statistics comes into picture. So in research and development lab, when you get some clinical trials done, you use the data, extrapolate more information out of the data using statistics. And that's how you're able to validate whether this works or not in a small population. Some people go for clinical trials, and that's how you sort of extrapolate. And we doing those statistical tests as a part of analyze phase. We learn about those tests which are used in real world scenario. Even the COVID vaccines have gone through those same tests. Globally, everything goes through the same test. So we'll be covering up those tests. So here it's about you creating something statistically and you testing. System is telling you and guiding you how to do it. And that's what we'll get to this part, but in the DOE, it's very complex. But having said that, it is the small portion out here which makes it complex. If we understand that, pretty much it will be a cakewalk, and then pretty much the first choice will always be DOE wherever you can apply. But well, we can park it for now because it is supposed to be understood and discussed. When you have understood this, then this will start making sense, because this is an advanced version of the same DMAC version. But 99% of the time, you'll always be using this version. Probably even 99.99% of the time, you're using DMAC only. But basic principles, whether you work on a DMAC or you work on DFSS version, the core principle always goes with the same logic when we kind of work on the project in a real world scenario. So you have a real world problem that you are trying to solve. In a traditional world, I will apply my knowledge, my skills, subject matter experts will brainstorm, and we'll come up with a real world solution. I understand it works. It doesn't mean that we don't know Six Sigma, we are not successful. No, we all are great professionals in our area. So we use that knowledge and we are able to find solutions. But there are certain situations where solutions don't work. We keep applying and trying different methods, but the problem doesn't resolve. So in case of Six Sigma, the approach will be same, real world problem, but then there will be some interim changes. We convert this into a statistical problem, which is data. The statistical problem will be then converted into a statistical solution, which is prototype. And then we have a real world solution. I know it works. No hit and trial in the real world scenario. So all this is tried, tested, and verified. So this is where we talk about defined phase, real world problem. Statistical problem part, when we talk about this, is about collecting data about that problem. Measure phase, analyzing it. Solution is about improve. You create a prototype, get a pilot testing done. The clinical trials, that we'll talk about solution thing. And the real world solution is when you implement and sustain and control the solution. So it's a sandwich approach where you have data and analysis will be a part of your implementation trial. All in all, this is what you will be in general. So unless you are a part of a research and development, it's highly unlikely that you will end up doing a DFSS project, because it needs funding, and management is trying to come up with something more innovative, and they want to go for a DFSS approach. But all in all, you'll always be working with DMAC, because there's always a process which needs an improvement. Unless you want to come up with something new, design product or something. Yeah, there are, won't say people are there in research and development. There you will be using these versions for sure. But you can still use the design of expert, because DOE works here and here both. Be this method or this method, they use same method. So you'll understand how to do it. But yeah, is it okay and clear with everyone?
Shashi, just one question.
Yeah.
Assuming we've developed a product using the DFS, and that product involves a lot of processes. So if those processes need to go through an improvement, again, we're going to use DMAC. In that situation, is it fair to say that my design of the product using DMADV was not 100% accurate?
You're a perfect project manager in that case. So you are very much inclined with the current definition of project management. Yes, you're right about that. It is not a perfect one. You can mix and match, and this is what we call as tailoring. So if anyone is going for a current version of PMP, you have to understand this concept pretty clearly. So whatever you just said, it is exactly what we need to be done. See, one is a hardcore DMAC, one is a hardcore DFSS, but given a situation, I understand that some portion needs to go, there is a process and that needs an improvement. Some portion is hardcore creation. So it's a mixed match and a blend of it. It's more of a like a blend of both the programs. When you talk about current version of PMP, it also tells you the exact same story, that when we talk about PMP, it's a collection of project management tools. So you have a approach which is waterfall method, which is about predictive method, which is rule-based. You have a rule-based method of implementing project. Then you have an agile methodology, which is about adaptiveness. So old version of PMP used to tell you you have to go with rule-based method, which is waterfall method, predictive method. But post-COVID, big changes have happened. Now the syllabus of PMP is 50% agile and 50% predictive. They have understood, and pretty much the biggest change that has ever happened in PMI is that they have understood post-COVID that you can't be that rigid. Well, you're talking about the best case scenario. Where we don't live in a perfect world. We cannot expect the world to be very, very perfect and as per a true condition. No, you are dealing in different situations under different bosses, different industries, different challenges. You cannot be so rigid about it. So you are the best boss. Bottom line, who is the best judge? You are the best judge. You are the project manager. You decide how to customize these tools. Well, I want to use mix and match. I want to use only agile. So it's pretty much, even Lean Six Sigma project is dealt in a hybrid mode. So there are some rule-based method, some agile bit. So Lean Six Sigma was always a hybrid approach, was using predictive methods, was using your agile methodology. So absolutely combine, customize. In the end, remember, you are the boss. You are the one who understands the business better than anyone else. Nobody else can technically would be the right person to tell you and say, no, this is what you do. Never say never in case of a real world scenario. So to go ahead and answer the question, you're right about that understanding. We will always mix and match. We can't say it's 100% a DFS. It can be a mixed project. Absolutely, yes.
Agreed. Agreed. Because in the real world scenario, right, sometimes urgency drives the product.
Absolutely, yes. Absolutely.
Yeah, got it. Thanks for the explanation.
Thanks a lot.
So one question: if the company is not working on research and development, but can they still adapt the methodologies of R&D?
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, you can see. These are just tools, and they could be in real world scenarios. So during job interviews, people could ask you a question about the similar stuff. That we will learn about lots of tools, and interviewers will purposefully ask you a question in Six Sigma. That when do you use this tool? Okay, we use this tool in improve phase or analyze phase. Well, the one thing is pretty clear. There's no tool which is linked with a particular phase. Tools are tools. They're meant to do some job. I am the best judge. I should be able to understand, given this situation, when do I use a particular tool? I can use a tool anywhere. Well, we are talking about control charts, control phase, control chart. But when do I implement control charts? Technically, I implement control chart in the measure phase. Real world, yes. Well, why? Let's understand. There is reason also. So, for example, when you talk about sustaining the improvement, well, when you want to improve, when you've achieved a target, you want to obviously secure that. You don't want to lose that improvement. So you implement control chart. But in real world project, when you're starting, a management has given you a project to solve a problem. You decided the project. Would you not like to stabilize the process right then and there? Because if it's bad, can you afford to go worse? No. So whatever it is right now, if it's bad, I want to freeze it and then continue improving. So it's not deteriorating. I will implement control chart right in the measure phase. And so that my process is not going any low. It's just one way, which is going to improve only. So I will implement these tools based on the merits when a tool needs to be implemented. No tool is linked with a particular phase. Like, for example, we'll talk about 7 quality control tools, which is we very commonly use tool is Pareto chart. Now, interviewers do ask question, when do you use a Pareto chart? Which phase do you use it? Well, you can use Pareto chart anywhere. We'll do a Pareto chart, but you can use the Pareto chart here, you can use it here, you can use it here. You use wherever you want. Bottom line, these are tools. I have to understand the purpose of the tool, and similarly, this is also a tool. So you can use the tool based on the merits, and you can design, develop, and find a solution to it. All in all, they're tools. When you use it in a project, then you call it as a Six Sigma, like a black belt project. Oh, can I use them as it is? Absolutely. Break them down. There could be companies where we don't have a Six Sigma culture. Then when do I implement my project? Well, do I lose the touch of the topics? No. These tools are independent tools also. So I can start using most of these tools in my day-to-day work. So that's when I can show to the management that without a project, see, this is the improvement. I've used a lot of tools which I learned in my Six Sigma. Without a project, this is what we have been able to improve. Well, if you give us a project, a focused approach, and you can see the improvement. So there are tools. We'll talk about lots of tools. We will go through it. So use them. Do not wait for a project to come to you. It's very important to understand. If the company already has a Six Sigma culture, then it will be easy for you. But if you don't have a Six Sigma culture, then it's important for you to have the culture started. But it's difficult to go and talk to the management and ask them, well, give me a project. Well, because a project means a lot of investment, time of management will be invested. You can't do that. It's important to show them results first. Don't ask for it. You'll get a project by default. Show them the improvement, collect the data, current data. It doesn't need any budget. You collect the data, analyze the data, understand the current status, baseline, and then start using some of those tools, risk management tools, 7 quality tools, 6 Sigma assessment tools, and all those different tools will learn and start quantifying the improvement when you start implementing these. So even with implementation of these tools as standalone tools, not as a project, you will see a great deal of improvement, process becoming more stable, streamlined, more reliable. You can quantify the improvement. This is what I did, and this is what it looks like right now without a project. So please do use these tools, and that's the right way to learn and apply Six Sigma in real world. And that's when management will come back and say, well, there is an improvement. Let's start a project then. So rather asking for a project, make sure you create those situations where you're given a project. It's the best way. You will be always in a dictating position, commanding position, whether rather you asking for a project, let the management approach you for the project. And the right way to show them result first. Don't ask for it. You get it automatic. So that's what to answer your question, yes, we will be using it.
Thank you. Yeah.
Thank you. Here, one important thing, belts and rules in Six Sigma. So as we discussed earlier, technically, this is how the entire course is. And so now I'm trying to explain the course from a marketing perspective, how it's marketed by different institutions. This is a complete Six Sigma. That's what we call as black belt. Everything included from 0 to 100%, everything. That's black belt. Now, as a training institute, just try and understand, if I make you do a yellow belt, which is say about 20% or 10%, 20% of this. So if I just get to cover this portion, I call it as yellow belt. So I enroll you and I make you pay for a yellow belt. Pretty much you invested some time, completed yellow belt training, and you're done. After some time, you want to upgrade to become a green belt. So green belt is still here. So when you're going for a green belt program, then you pretty much need to go through the same yellow belt program again. This is going to be repetition, and the new portion is the remaining one. So this is where you repeat this section again, because it starts from here, green belt also. It will start from absolutely everything what we were discussed and will go till here. The new portion is only this section. This is a repetition. Now you want to think about going for a black belt program. And that's when, well, you know for sure, you have to learn everything from here till here. Now you are repeating the yellow belt portion twice, and you're repeating the green belt portion. This is thrice actually. So you've got, this is again getting repeated, yellow belt portion, and the green belt is again getting repeated for you. So every time when you enroll, you obviously pay an extra fee, and pretty much you end up spending the time, I'd rather say wasting the time for going through the same repetitive content. And that's where the master's program was brought into picture, to make sure that we can we understand, well, why make the person go through it again and again, the same content? Well, pretty much start from the scratch and go to the end, so you don't have to repeat anything again, and saves your time and money pretty much. So you go through a master's program, start from scratch, go to the end. Why kind of go for a redoing of that stuff? So pretty much we're going through everything from the scratch, and we'll go to the end. So technically tomorrow we'll be starting with define phase, and we'll go till the end with that logic. Now, the belts we're talking about, it's important to understand the different belts we have. So there's something called white belt also. So there's a white belt, there's a yellow belt, then there is a green belt. So I'll keep green belt here. Then we have black belt. So we will be doing a comparison of green belt and black belt. Then we have a master black belt, and that's where my Six Sigma belts end. Master black belt. And then couple of other nomenclatures. Champion, we've got to understand this. Some people call champion as a part of Six Sigma. No, they are not. We'll understand what champion is. And then there's a sponsor. So we, as Six Sigma people, will be dealing with champion and sponsor, but they are not part of Six Sigma. They are outsiders of the Six Sigma team. We'll be dealing with them. Technically our clients are here. So we call them champion and sponsor. Who is champion, who is sponsor? We'll have to understand. But let's start with white belt. Now, white belt, is there a prerequisite? No prerequisite. Anyone can do a white belt training and starting. So there's no prerequisite for the white belt training. What do you become a project team member? No, you don't become a member of a project because you don't know anything about Six Sigma. But what is a white belt training? It's technically about 2 to 3 hours training at the max. What is done here? Probably a case study is discussed, how people have implemented Six Sigma in the company, so various industries. So you can't give them an awareness training. This is more of an awareness training. Whenever you want to implement Six Sigma, we want to make sure that people in your organizations are aware of what is Lean Six Sigma. So you might want to talk about this as an awareness training, so people get aware of it. But you don't become a part of a project because you have not learned anything of tools and techniques here, just to create awareness. Well, yellow belts are very important for us. Again, no prerequisite. You can start with yellow belt directly. This is technically a one-day program. You are a member of a project, but you don't lead a project. There's nothing called a yellow belt project technically. Well, you end up learning overview of DMAIC. DMAC, you can't learn everything in one day. So you end up learning like the name of the tool. What are the different tools used to define phase, measure phase, analyze, improve, and control. And you also learn about 7 quality control tools. Overview. You need yellow belts. Absolutely yes. Because you are the one who's planning. You're the one who's strategizing. Are you the one running in the different directions, talking to people? No, you need people who will do the job. You're the strategy maker. You're the planner. So you need people who can understand your language. And these are the people who can understand your language. So you can tell them, well, we are going to collect data for hypothesis testing. So they understand what does that mean, how data needs to be collected. You tell them we are going to make Pareto chart. We're going to do a fishbone diagram. We're going to do an analysis. So they will understand the language. They can't do that analysis, but they can get the groundwork done, getting the data collected, putting that in format, talking to people, and all those follow-up stuff. You need people who can follow your instructions, and these are the people. Yellow belts are very important for us. Us means green belt and the black belt, because they are project managers. They are the one who lead the project. So technically, role of a project manager starts here. So if you have to lead a project, this is the role of a project manager. We deal as a green belt or black belt, both are project managers. What is similarity between them? The project management skills. Project management skills are absolutely the same. Why? Because both have to carry out the complete project. Define till control. You cannot have any difference in the skill set of green belt or black belt. There's no way. Otherwise, you can't do a project. But the difference comes in statistics, statistical exposure. Very big difference. This is low to medium, and this is extensive. And when I say extensive, we can say gladly thanks to the design of expert. That is where it becomes more complex, absolutely complex. So having said that, when we talk about low to medium, we'll get into this complex, the terminologies, but just to give you a high level information. Here as green belts, we only deal with normal data. We will understand what is normal data. And in black belt, we deal with normal data, non-normal data, categorical data, non-normal data, categorical data, which is of 3 types: binary, ordinal, and nominal. So there's nothing in the world you can't analyze if you know how to analyze different types of data. And this is all you can have. Nothing else. So any type of data can fit into this. So the files that I have put in the Google Drive for you all. So that file which I have here, this save file. So you have a normal data, non-normal data, and all categorical data. So if you know how to deal with these different types of data, you can analyze anything in the world. So pretty much we'll cover as black belts, we'll go through all of it. Well, what's additional differences between green belt and black belt? Project, real world project, when you're doing a green belt project in an organization, solving a problem. Typical duration of a green belt project would span between 4 to 6 months. Well, can there be exception? 100% yes. Well, this is most of the green belt projects take about 4 to 6 months. Can a green belt project take about a year? Absolutely. Can it take 2 months? Yes. Exceptions can be there, but most projects will take about 4 to 6 months time. Black belts typically take about 9 to 12 months. We just completed a black belt project, which was about 18 months, like 1 year, roughly about 18, 19 months for a publication house in Europe. So that was a pretty long project. So depends on various factors, how complex is the situation, how steep target have you kept it, what is the culture, what is the overall like scenario of the organization. Pretty much that varies, but all in all, most projects would take about 9 to 12 months in black belt. Role, very important part. As green belts, what do? Green belts work within their department. And now, pardon me for saying that, well, because I said as Six Sigma has no boundaries, there's no industry, no department, nothing, then why I'm contradicting myself? I'm saying they work within the department. Can green belt work in other departments? Yes, but are they allowed to do that? No. So logically, technically, they don't have a challenge. But across the globe, the culture is that a green belt will be working within their department. If you're an operations person, you'll be doing an operations project. If you're an HR person, you'll be doing HR project. Finance person will do finance project within your department. And there's a reason also. So there's a justified reason. But green belt can work everywhere. Work is divided generally in general as 70-30. So what does the 70-30 means? You work 70% of the time, you do same work what you hired for. So you're an operations guy, you 70% time will go in operations work, 30% time on project. If you're an HR person, 70% of time you do HR work, 30% of time you solve HR problems. So 30% time is on the project only. In general, globally, that's how people, there can be variations, but in general, this is how people treat. Since your salary is paid by the department, cost center comes into picture. If HR person salary is paid by the department, you're hired by the department to do HR work, you now have extra skill to solve a problem. Since I am paying you salary, well, I will make my problem solved for you. So I will not be like, you won't be doing other people's work, you'll be doing my work only. So I give you 30% of time to solve my problem. Same goes for every department. So generally, because your cost center comes into picture, but this is not a technical reason, it's more of a financial reason. Cost center based, unless you're a shared resource, then you can work with multiple departments. Black belts are 100% project management. This is cross-functional, 100% project resources. Absolutely. They are not attached to a department. They generally be interacting with all the stakeholders of different departments to understand the challenges, to solve a problem. So they work with everyone. Cost saving. Now, that is where it varies from company to company, cost saving criteria. Because a small scale company can have a different criteria to call this is green belt and black belt project based on cost saving. A more medium sized company can have a different scale. A big company can have a different scale, like General Electric. For them, anything less than $10 million, they call it as green belt. Anything more than $10 million cost saving is called black belt project. Well, that's only for General Electric, not for it. So who decides it? The stakeholder, CEOs, CXO, CTOs, they will be the one who categorize the project based on cost saving as green belt or black belt. So it will vary from company to company. That's typical difference between green belt and black belt. Coming to the master black belt part, well, who is the master black belt? Technically an experienced black belt. An experienced black belt will eventually become a master black belt, who has at least done about 10 to 12 different projects, minimum eligibility to appear for a black belt project, like a master black belt. So minimum about 10 to 12 projects should have been covered, and diversified industry, department, domains, whatever you call this. So you're more of a coach. You're more of a like a facilitator. You don't do a project as a master black belt if you are working in an organization. Like if I do a project and I'm working as a consultant, then I'm definitely working and doing the project. But if I'm working in a company on payroll of the company, then I have a team which does it. So I don't do a master black belt project there. Our projects are either green belt or black belt. But if I'm working as a consultant in a single capacity, then pretty much I'm the one who's leading the project. So, but technically a green belt or black belt will have a team size, master black belt, team size of about 10 to 12 people. which is about green belts or black belts. So green belt does green belt job, black belt does black belt job, master black belt does nothing. So this guy will be more of a mentor, a coach. So if somebody gets stuck while giving a feedback, all that part will be the role of a master black belt. They will act as a mediator between Six Sigma team and management. So if your company doesn't have a master black belt, generally because you turn master black belt, you become a consultant because of the money factor. So there's no way, there's no comparison when you become a consultant, what it could do to your finances. But yes, pretty much when you become a master black belt, so generally people end up switching and getting into consulting kind of role. But all in all, if the company doesn't have a master black belt, then pretty much black belt will be the one who will be point of contact. And that's how pretty much black belt is a senior position. Who is a champion here? Now, champion is someone who we call as champion. So it's not a Six Sigma designation. So first of all, we means the Six Sigma team. Call this person as a champion. Who this is? Head of department. Wherever the project is done, HOD, department head, generally the VPs of the organization, the vice president of operation, vice president HR, the head of department. Technically, this guy is my client. So say, for example, this is an operations department, the head of operations or the VP operation is experiencing some challenge, some problem, is trying to solve the problem for a pretty long time. It's not getting solved. So now the champion will consult with the Six Sigma team to discuss and tell, well, we have tried to solve this, it keeps coming back. So they will try to go and discuss and come up with a project plan. So champion will be the one who will be giving a project, will be more of a hiring you for the problem solving. So champion is the client who's contacted us for a problem. I will be reviewed by the champion only. He is the one who's technically my client. So approval, denial, review is always done by the champion. Champion is the owner of the project. We are not, we are facilitator. We are just doing it for the champion. So project success or failure is champion's responsibility. If you face any challenge during the project, loop in champion immediately. Somebody is giving you a tough time, was supposed to give you data, was supposed to help you, is now giving you runaround. Do not wait. It's not your project which is getting hampered. It's champion's project, because tomorrow champion will get the beating because champion is the one who's owner of the project. Why? Because you had a consultation with the champion, you decided a project, champion reached out to sponsor to secure the funds. So funds, just the project. That's the role of the champion sponsor. Who is the sponsor? CEO, CXO, all those people. CTOs will be the one who, or probably the managing director. Those are the funding authority who will be funding the project. So champion will go and convince the sponsor that we have a problem and we can't solve it ourselves. So we need to have a Six Sigma project team work on it. And there will be a tentative budget for this. And this is the benefit we're looking at. The champion will convince the sponsor to fund the project. So tomorrow, who is going to answer the question? The champion. Sponsor will ask, well, where is the money? What has happened to your project? So champion is going to be very, very ruthless in follow-up because tomorrow answers will be given. Yes, yes.
So basically, like you were trying to say that the champions are the master black belts?
No, not that's the next thing I'm going to add to it. Not champion will not be not necessary. So now, given that this part, who is the champion a Six Sigma professional? Champion himself or herself, maybe just a white belt, just a yellow belt, just a green belt, or just a black belt, or maybe a master black belt, or even none. You don't need to be head of department, but generally I'll tell you, it used to happen that we were interacting with champions like head of department who used to contact us for projects. I currently have been doing like a lot of trainings for CEOs across the globe, and they are like one-on-one training. They are based on their data. Their duration is, their data is their own organizational data, which we work while we're training them. So generally, we have seen an upsurge in the training taken up by champions on CEOs and CXOs off late, like last 3-4 years, it has increased a lot. So nowadays, when we come up with champion, they are all Six Sigma professionals. They have understanding of Six Sigma professional, like because earlier if I talk about 5 years, 5 or 10 years ago, pretty much I would say most of the people that we used to come across knew what is Six Sigma, but they had no idea how it functions. So it is somewhat relatively difficult to communicate with these people and explain them the statistical part of it. So, but when you have somebody who has knowledge of Six Sigma, it's a blessing, because then the person works with you closely and gets the work done. It's very, nowadays things have changed a lot, because we've generally come across, I would say 90% of the case, the champions are, or CEOs or CXOs are Six Sigma professionals. They understand it. Why they want to do it? Because Six Sigma is a management tool. It's a top-down approach. Management takes up the training, understands everything, and then they start giving project to the team. Well, you do this project, you do that project, and because you can't fool around with them, so they know what's happening. So technically, then they start awarding projects, and well, they keep monitoring. So nowadays, champions are Six Sigma professionals, but yeah, they may not be also. That's more
in an organization where there's a process excellence team.
Yes.
In that scenario, a champion can be. I mean, normally the champion is the MBB.
Yeah. So that's a variation. They're not rules, but yes, you will be. Champion can be like when we talk about process excellence team. So generally, when we talk about Six Sigma departments, they generally referred as process excellence, operational excellence, business excellence, and various other names, because they are nomenclatures, and different companies can call it differently. This person, the master black belt, may be a champion in that case, where the project is directly awarded to the Six Sigma team by the CEOs and all. So the coordination of master black belt happens between the management and the master black belt. So CEO directly approaches the master black belt. Well, you solve the problem. So pretty much, when in certain cases, champion and sponsor may be the same person also. So they can be in a proper matured organization. You might have a 2 different role, but in some cases, same person may be the champion and sponsor also. It's so variations you'll definitely see. But it varies from company. But in general, you have to keep this in mind. The structure, technical structure. Is it okay with everyone?
Got it. Thanks.
All right. Okay, so that's pretty much the end for today. But yes, tomorrow we will be starting with define phase and all. So before I upload this file, okay, we'll resume with that tomorrow. So let me quickly verify this link was already shared. I'm going to put that here again. I will place this file right away in the shared drive. Please verify if you are able to download this file. And if it's working fine, then we are good to go ahead and keep using this going forward also. That means it's working for everyone effortlessly. Give me a quick second.
So Sashi, so basically, to become a champion, we need to have a white belt.
No, champion is a different. See, champion is a management's designation. It need not be the person need not be, because MD and they are like, so all like we talk about managing directors or vice president. They are not all Six Sigma professionals. So champion is somebody who is head of a department. That is a management's designation. That person may be a Six Sigma professional or may not be. So that's an added skill. Like you all have taken training. Some of you might be a champion and who is now taking up Six Sigma training. It's an extra skill.
That means without any belt, we can become a champion.
100% yes. You might be dealing with a boss who is not Six Sigma professional, but has hired you to do the job.
Thank you, Sashi. I got my answer. Thank you so much.
So here is link, and again would like to request everyone because I keep so here. So here is the link. Please try to download this file. If you are able to do it, then it's working fine for us. Okay, perfect. Sami has confirmed it. So if it's working for you, it should work for everyone. So similarly, we'll keep creating these day-wise folders every time. And again, the WhatsApp thing, I would highly request, please reach out to your respective program coordinator, whosoever enrolled you in this program. And please, if you're not in the WhatsApp group, please coordinate with them and get yourself added in the WhatsApp group. So we can still stay in touch during the week also. please, because I don't have access. I would have similar access like you all have. I was also added, so I don't have admin rights to add any one of you. So I would request you to please connect with your respective program coordinator. If you have their mobile number or email, just connect with them and they will have you added in the WhatsApp group. So that's all for today. Having said that, I would like to thank everyone for your precious time. Let's connect tomorrow, and till then, please stay safe and take care of yourself.
Yeah, Mr. Shashi, just last question.
Thank you very much, Mr.
Yes,
Shashi.
yes, please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
After completion of this black belt course, that master in black belt, this is going to be a part of this course also?
No, not in this course, but yes, IMC will be coming up with the master black belt courses also. So that's not a part of the master, this one. That is an extended program that most likely, so by the time you finish, we will be getting an update. So I think they will be starting with the master black belt course pretty shortly. So they'll also happen.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shashi.
Thank you, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Shashi.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.